Welcome back to Walk on Roll! I'm having a great day and I hope you are too. It seems like it was only yesterday that we were all just here in the Wizarding World attending Havenheart's School of Sorcery, but that's probably in large part because we're on session 3 of our first day of classes. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Kevin Allen and I will be your headmaster for this game of Hunter Entertainment and Renegade Studios' Kids on Brooms. With me always are the voices in my head, but chief among them is our director behind the scenes, Justin Zagri. A round of yes. And of course, there are 4 favorite faces beaming into all of our screens. Those belong to Katie Katulik, Garrett Schwackhauser, Liana Manassian, and Zachary Jaworski. Welcome, everyone. You guys are allowed to talk, you know.
Oh, hi.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, wow. It's one of those
I'm jumping right into it today. Don't let me throw you off.
I thought this was the mime episode.
Yeah, but hold on for just a moment because we do have one more introduction. Last but not least, there's all of you in the chat. Everyone out there, thank you for joining the show, popping into the chat and introducing yourselves, telling us your Havenhearth homeroom, telling us how you're doing, and telling us what you think of our new magical chalkboard. I hope I'm pointing at it. Surprise! We're already in the morning announcements, and the first one is that we, as Twitch's hottest new independently produced tabletop role-playing game show set in the Wizarding World that just started airing a minute ago, we are always striving to improve every aspect of the show with every session. And this week, we have found a way to prove that Justin and I love when you guys sound off on your own and that we want you to feel seen. So, to everyone in the chat, welcome to the wall. You guys have a presence along with all of our players, and thank you all for being here. Specifically right there. Yeah. All right, and we do have more surprises in store for you later on in the near future, but for now, let's remark on the past. Players, who among you would like to share what happened last time on Dungeons and Detention?
JJ set Charms class on fire. The end.
I mean, short and sweet, right?
I mean, he also met up
brief
with
episode.
the mysterious healer, right?
Yeah, the mysterious, like, embittered healer. It was great. We had like a bitter off. Everybody loved it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she found a kindred spirit in JJ, I think. She wouldn't have told most people her first name, which, just for clarity's sake, is Revis.
I wrote it down. I think.
People in the chat were asking, and I wanted to make sure that everyone was clear on what the names are, because the names are they're semi-important. They have significance. I'll just leave it at that for the moment.
All the names have significance.
Yes, it was a fairly brief episode. We had lunch. We learned how to use the maps in the backs of our class schedules. You went to Charms class. Alex immediately proved he's great at spell casting when it comes to color. And then JJ cast what some are going to call the Dark Spark.
Oh no! Oh boy!
Isn't that clever? Yeah.
That can't be a problem.
That's going to be great for my self-esteem and making friends.
Well, on that note, we only made it through lunch in half of a class last episode, so not a lot of points were given. We do have a couple of very vocal students who contributed to the conversation, but and we're also jumping in at the chance to help out during the panic of last week's incident. So I'm going to jump right into house points and award between Miss Amber, Miss Black, and of course Mr. Johnson, who finally gained the courage to cast a spell. Sapphire House is up 13 more points.
I get points for burning down my classroom.
You got points for giving it your all.
All right, word.
And 13 was the magic number, so it just felt right.
Well, aren't all the numbers magic here?
Boom.
Facts.
Okay. Hard facts.
Note for numerology. All right. As for the rest of you, Anahit, Alex, and Paris each almost coincidentally earned 6 points for their respective homerooms for combinations of keeping it cool under pressure, going for it, and assisting others in need. So well done to each of you.
All right. Woo, go us.
All right. And in a similar fashion, there was also standout moments that everyone found pretty equally inspiring. So it came down to myself to break the tie. So in addition to Paris retaining her inspiration from our first class of the semester, I award Anahit Crowley inspiration for not letting herself be swayed by the crowd of students shuffling back into class in the form of me trying to wrap up last night. So
I'm vindicated.
Yes. You got points
Thank
for
you,
fighting
Kevin.
against the DM. That's what we need. This is what we're trying to foster.
No, and I should encourage that, not discourage it. But honestly, I mean, you also did have the most votes. You just shared the most votes with others.
That's cool.
All
Thank
right.
you, everyone who voted.
So getting back to what we were saying, in hindsight, I believe it was a mistake to rush things along the way I did, because I would like to revisit the latter half of Charms and have JJ return from visiting the nurse.
I get to be unconscious in Charms. That's
Yes.
exciting.
So,
okay.
Quickest introduction we've ever had. So let's just jump right in on that train. JJ, as you make your way back up to the stairs and approach the door, you hear Professor Yoshikasuke in the middle of a discussion. I don't know that much about Warlord, but I think Wisteria is so great and very resilient and durable. And in Japan, it's a source of encouragement during moments of doubt. So I think you'll have no problem with this spell. And it's Anahit's turn to try casting sparks or lights of her choosing. I'm going to let you do this because I want you to have it, but yeah, just you do you. Tell me what you'd like to do with magic.
If so, JJ comes in the room into the back of the room and is like, I don't know, does everybody notice when I enter and like know that I've come back and I'm an okay, or am I just hanging out outside?
So you're probably doing your usual thing, trying to not be the big presence that you are. So I imagine that you're coming in very gently.
Yeah, I think I peek in as I hear her Anahit's conversation. And I just sort of like kind of sit in the back row and try not to draw attention to myself.
Okay, let's see if that works. Anahit, what are you doing? You are now in the front of the class in what is a more structured lesson. She has you up in front of everybody in the center of the room under the big open canopy, the vaulted ceilings of this room. So it's not just you doing what Alex did, standing up in your chair and just winging it. You have the time to do this as a planned action, and you can absolutely describe to me what your intentions are.
Okay. Well, yeah, so Anahit is like really timid about doing this. She's kind of scared. But I feel like she does see JJ sneak into the back. And I think like she sees him as she's about to cast the spell.
Okay. So in my mind, I'd like to imagine that we've kind of advanced the class a little bit. So there's sparks. You can do what's called the candle spell and just have a sustained light. But I want to hear what you want to do, what colors you want to make, what's going through your mind, so to speak, because that's how I designate how difficult this spell is going to be for you.
Okay, cool. I think she would go with a sustained, like, what did you call it?
It's a candle. You're
Yeah,
turning
like
your
a
wand
candle.
into a candle, so to speak. So you're just trying to create a nice, small, sustained flame.
Yeah.
What color do you want it to be?
I think she'd want it to be red.
Okay. All right. And it sounds like this is just a grit roll. Like you're just mentally you're not thinking about it, but you're just making it happen. Am I right?
Yeah. She, even though she's timid, she also just wants to do well.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Let's call this 12. You gotta make a 12.
Good number.
You said grit, right?
Yes.
My grit's only at D8 though.
Ooh, okay, so you're gonna have to get a lucky break. So
Okay.
roll that magic die and keep in mind, sorry, roll that normal die and keep in mind you also have your magic die. And you got someone in the class, John, you got this.
Okay. Oh god. It's a 2.
Okay.
And my magic one
Mm-hmm.
is a 3. So 5.
Woo!
Okay. Okay, so you look at the tip of your wand and you see it
Oh,
like
sad.
you know when you click a lighter and it just sparks.
Yeah.
So you've earned an adversity token, and
Okay.
Professor Yo says, "Okay, it's all right. Try again. Try again." Now remember, you want to focus on it. You know, if light tends to become from a warm feeling. You know, it's all about illumination. So find the warmth nestled within you, and just extend it from your body out your hand and perform the spell.
Okay. So I take a moment and sort of like go internal and like close my eyes and just I'm like, okay, what's the first thing that comes to my head that like makes me feel warm? And I think about JJ Carey in the curling match for some reason.
Oh, I
That's
love
rushing through my
that.
mind.
Okay, I would like you to roll for charm this time, and you're gonna try to hit an 8
Okay.
because you've attempted it now. So you know.
All right, let's see what I get. 6
And your magic die?
plus magic is a 3. So 9.
You're at 9, and how many adversity tokens do you have?
I have 6. Yeah.
You are welcome to spend a few.
Wait, so you said I needed how many? What was the total amount?
10, you're 1 away.
Okay, yeah. So I'll just use 1.
Okay, let's do
Oh,
it.
this is my favorite part.
God.
Oh, this one fell out of the bag and into my basin here. So this is the one that I've got, and it's red. It's red and white. That seems appropriate.
Oh no.
You're doing this too, right?
Yeah, you gotta eat a bean.
You got to spend a bean.
Yeah, that's the adversity
right.
thing.
You
I
gotta eat
forgot.
the bean to
Here's
get
my beans. Okay. Oh, thank God, it's good.
Oh, this was like cherry pie or something.
Oh, okay.
Mine's
Mine
like-
worked out. I'm in a good mood.
Mine's like blue raspberry or whatever the blue one. I don't know.
Nice. We both got good adversity points there, and your spell is very successful. At the tip of your wand is a red flame, just like you're burning a candle. It flickers, it shines, it glows in your face. It's very pretty. Well done.
Yay, me.
Yay! and everyone claps, and she says, well done, yay! She says that. That's her. That's not me. And okay, go take your seat. Take your seat. Well done. And she, nobody noticed because everyone was so invested in this new spell here. But teacher definitely noticed JJ, and she says, "Oh, JJ, perfect. Come on back. Come down here. Come down here. Let's try this again."
I'm sorry. I was very badly burned. I would not want. I don't want to do that.
So when you say you're burned, she comes up to you and she says, "Were you really burned?"
I don't want to go up and do it again. Please.
I'm not going to make you do it if you don't want to, but I think you'd be the perfect person to demonstrate the fireworks charm.
Yeah. What?
What are
Have
you
you
up for?
learned?
Just point it out. You can do it.
I think
Okay.
about.
And she like pats you on the shoulder and then scurries back down to the front. I'm not saying she's calling you forward, but she's left you with that.
I look down at my wand that I'm still holding. No, that's not true. I put it back in its box. It's just like I'm holding the box with my wand in it. And I think about what that lady said about how I've repressed everything. And I think about my friends and how much they love playing D&D with me and how they would kill to be able to do something like this. And I take my wand out and I shakily walk to the front.
Okay, so she was giving you a moment to decide as she looks around the room, and then she says, "Oh, I think JJ would be the perfect person to demonstrate the fireworks spell. Now, you've all made sparks, and now, JJ, you're just going to focus on what you did before, except send it toward the vaulted ceiling here, where it's nice and safe, and everything's just fine.
Okay.
You know you can do it because you've done it before, so now just intend to do it. That's the only difference. And also point your wand above your head. I think that's probably a good idea.
I kind of smile at her and take the wand out and I point it above my head and I think to myself, if my life has to be ruled by having magic in it, then I better learn how to use it for what I want. And I close my eyes and I think about bringing all my friends back together and how during the 4th of July we'll all ride our bikes down to this park and when we'll play usually the night of, and then as it gets dark we'll just like sit and watch fireworks all together, and I try to recreate those fireworks in my head, the classic, big reds and blues and all that stuff that you get from a good fireworks show.
The reds and the blues, okay.
Yeah, I'm not going for dark purples and blacks anymore.
You can do whatever you like. All right, I would also like you to roll for charm and roll for aiming for 10.
Okay, I'm mildly charming, kind of. I got a 10. I want to get to roll my my magic dice.
Yes, you do.
All right, here we go. For my charm, boom. 3, baby.
Okay.
For my magic die, 1, baby.
Okay, so, well,
I
I
kinda
guess you...
I'm like screwing up my eyes and like trying to make it happen, but I just can't really hold on because they're not here, and I definitely feel the distance between us, like now more than ever, and it really hurts.
Okay. I would like you... Okay, so the spell does not work.
I get an
You-
adversity token.
Yeah, you get a... Like, I mean, it's like a dud firework. I don't know how else to describe it. It's just perfect. It's not nothing happens, but it just goes poof, and then flutters back. But when the way you mustered at the end, I kind of want you to re-roll your magic die. We'll keep that first one, the 3, but re-roll your magic die for me.
All right. Oh, it exploded.
So, yeah, I knew it was a theme.
4. And
All
then
right.
it's a 2, so it's 6, extra 6.
All right, that brings it to 9. So, you have kind of a Roman candle thing going on here. It doesn't sky off into the vaulted ceiling like we'd hoped, but high above your head, you were holding, and if you start feeling confident, you could start waving around what I would call a Roman candle.
I feel like because when I mustered at the end, it was with that feeling of like there's so much distance between me and the people that I care about that I kind of want my fireworks to have like a black outline a little bit. Is this
Well,
just
they
coming
do.
from? Oh
You
no.
probably can't see it, though.
Yeah.
Because of
maybe
all the
noise.
color. Oh my gosh, it's amazing.
Yeah, I don't wave it around like a crazy person. I just kind of look at it like.
It's still fairly impressive and pretty. It's just probably closer to you than you imagined, and it's not what you intended to do. So you've earned. You keep that adversity token I gave you just a moment ago. But she says, "Oh, I think that's a wonderful spell for us to go from the candle charm to the fireworks spell." I've seen fireworks like that. That's just fantastic. Okay, JJ, well done, greatly improved. All right, go have your seat. Perhaps Miss Color Pop can make the color pop. And
Yeah.
she grins and she thinks he's really cute for making that. And so she waves you on up to the spell. And you've been up before practicing the candle charm, but now we're gonna go for that fireworks spell. So
technically, this is how I got through my last couple of schools. Is that I haven't done anything in this class other than try to help put out a fire. But that's how I got away with my last schooling as well. So what do you want me to do, Teach? Sorry, what do I have to do? Are we doing a candle spell? No, we're doing fireworks. Not a good student. I was focusing on putting on my makeup. What are we?
Oh, I thought all of those colors were for the spell you were practicing, because you were making notes about all the colors.
Yes.
Earlier, yeah. So, well, yes. So I'd like you, and she kind of like redoes her lesson, and she says, "You know what? Real quick, here's out of game. Here's what I'd like everyone to do. I'd like everyone to thank Paul right now. Just say thanks, Paul."
Thanks,
Thank
Paul.
you,
Thanks, Paul.
Yeah, Paul Lamtastic in the chat is the one responsible for these lights. You don't need to do a firework button, because I can do this. I can make it happen. And we're going to make it happen back in the game. Color Pop, hold your wand above your head and just imagine the most excited feeling that you can and have it fill your body and then go up your arm and then wish it into existence by placing your wand above your head and casting for fireworks. Just like the sparks we did earlier, but with a little bit of distance and a bit of a pop. All right? I know you can do this, Color Pop. It's your namesake spell.
Yeah.
All right. What would you like to do? What are you aiming for?
Aiming for as far literally.
Yeah. Like what colors? Do you have anything in your mind? I want you to tell me how you're approaching this spell.
Well, for fireworks, she's going to go with the sparkle type of fireworks. You know that like literally like your eyes after the firework is gone still has like the imprint of the light on it because they're like just trying to adjust. Yeah,
Those ones that kind of rain down.
Right. Yeah.
Nice. Okay. And what's your approach? Are you thinking about how that would work? Are you just trying to muster up that feeling, or?
I think she's done this before, so I think it's like a feeling of she's confident, but she's this was not a difficult class for her in the past. I think she again just kind of like skirted by and thought she could get away with her like kind of blasé, okay, let's do it sort of a mindset. I don't know. Well, this time I'm doing it for my dad, gosh darn it. You know what? I'm thinking about my dad. And I'm thinking about my grandma, rest in peace. Grandma Color Pop. She's the one who, So I would say that.
Make a grit roll aiming for 8.
Okay.
For you, shouldn't be too much of a challenge. What color is he going to do? Because I really want to know what colors Paris Color Pop is aiming for.
If it's got to be the classic stuff, I don't want to go too overboard because it's like, it's in my mind, again, if I'm doing it for my grandma or for my dad, we're going to go with a rose gold because roses were her favorite, and rose gold, classy no matter what. Is it antique? Is it not? No, it's rose.
Yeah. Okay. All right, go for it.
What did I have to beat?
8.
What if I got an 8?
Oh, perfect. Perfect then. Yeah. Do you have your magic die? Roll that one too. The D4.
Okay. I have a question. How do you know that if you've got a magic thing? I never got established with that because I picked my own wand, so I don't actually know if I have magic or not.
You do have a +2 to fight checks with your wand.
Okay.
Because of the, as she talked about earlier in the class, the crab apple dog wolf's tooth combination. So it doesn't really affect you here, but because you are casting a spell, you get to also roll your D4 and add that to the 8.
All
So
right,
if you
great.
got succeeded, I just want to see how well you succeed.
That is it's a 1. So I got 9.
Okay, so just a little better. So you definitely do it, and there's a glimmer of rose gold sparks that just kind of rain down over everybody, and it's impressive. It lasts a little longer than maybe you intended to, because those fireworks feel like an afterthought, but this one feels like what you intended. So
Cool.
well done.
Thank you.
All right.
I think there's a moment of a kind of amazement for JJ as like there's just like fireworks raining down on the class, but they're not burning or anything. It's just like this beautiful cascade of, golden sparks. And I think his eyes get really big as this is like it's starting to sort of shape up for him that like this is what magic is capable of doing.
Nice, very nice. Good. That's the feeling that she's going for, I think. So she says, "Oh, absolutely lovely, Paris. Well done, well done. Round of applause for Paris. She did it again. You've really got a knack for this." And she lets you go to your seat, and she says, "All right, everyone, we're going to do one last spell, and you all can do it together, and you can do it from your seats." And then she thinks about whether or not that was a good idea. But she says, "We've cast sparks and fireworks and kind of lots of heat. So we're going to work our way up to another form. I want you to all cast, think of it like a flashlight. Just, you have the candle spell, but now I want you to create sunlight from your wand. Think about the warm feeling that you have in the sun. When you step into it for the first time, or just how unbearably blinding it can be on a summer day. And muster up whatever emotions or feelings or thoughts you need to focus your spell and drive that intention so that you can make a beam of warm sunlight. All right, everyone? And she probably not a great idea, but she's like, and everyone go and aim for the stained glass. Aim for the stained glass. So this is where I'm going to tell all of you, unless you really have a different approach to it, just roll a charm roll for, let's say, because we want this one to be sustained a little bit. So let's call it for 7.
7.
Yes.
Here we go.
Well, I forgot one thing. I want to look up a magic word, but you don't need it.
JJ rolled an 11.
I killed it. I got a 19.
Wow. Your
Oh
charm
gosh,
is
I
cool.
got a 6.
I am not surprised you're the one who's not getting it so far.
Aren't you from like Seattle or something?
Yeah, exactly. It fits. I told her to muster up the feeling of warm sun, and it's this is what the girl the goth girl from Seattle is doing. It just makes sense to me.
Fair.
Alex
got a 9.
Well done, everyone. So beams of light, some of them, like Paris's, who rolled a little higher, have color to them, if you want to describe that. But everyone has a glow setting from their wand, and it's filling the room with light, which is catching on all of the stained glass and all of her trinkets and things and around the room, and just the room is filled with light and color. And now so are all of you. Hooray! That's what she says. She says, well done. There's so much light and color, and it all came from deep within you. And she notices Anahit a little bit, kind of like having a bit of a dimmer switch on her spell, so to speak. And she says, so while everyone's like congratulating themselves, she comes up to you and softly says, and everyone's going, yeah, great, good job, and applauding. She goes, I want you to think of that feeling when you step out from the shade on a cold day and you feel the warmth in your skin. And I want you to, if you need a word, say apricity, and just let that wash over you, and then just push it through your wand. All right? Use that wisteria vine.
What was that word again? You just said
Apricity.
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 Okay, apricity. Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
All right.
Okay.
So you've earned another adversity token to your pile.
Dragon's Horde.
Yeah, right. And you just do the same thing. Charm, but you've attempted it now, so let's go for 6, not 7.
Okay. Ugh.
Alex has got a nice bright beam. I am not surprised. JJ, you roll pretty decently high too, right? You got like a 9 or a 10. I
I
forget.
did. There's a prisms are a big deal in Fritz Jordan's books. So he's kind of he's recreating the prism from the stone in the second book he read.
So, okay, she's focused on Anahi, but I can tell in her, the corner of her mind, she's really excited that you're feeling more comfortable with magic, but she's focused on Anahi right now.
Rolled a 6 again, but I'll use 2 of my adversity tokens.
Did you roll your magic die?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. All right, fine. Go ahead. Use those adversity tokens. Well, no, you rolled a 6, and I asked for a 6 this time, so you actually got it.
Okay, yeah, I thought you said 7 again.
No, you've attempted this before, so I'm knocking down a point. Plus, you got the teacher right there helping you out. It just makes sense to me. All right, so you do it. Yeah, warm light extending from your wand. Well done. And she's so giddy and she's bouncing around. And she goes, "Oh, this was a wonderful first class. I couldn't have asked for it to go any better." Well, maybe I could, but I'm so happy that everyone has practiced these charms. We got through a lot today, and I know it doesn't seem like much, making colors and lights and stuff, but trust me, this can come in rather handy. I use my wand like a flashlight or a candle almost every day. So it's probably time for you to head off to your next class. I know I kept you just a tinge later than usual as we were catching up, but thank you all so much for being here, and I'll see you on Wednesday. Great job, everyone. Great job. And the gong goes off for the next class. So we talked about this last time. You've all earned your gold stars, but now officially, each of you has completed a charms class and earned a mark towards either brains or charm. So the one you tallied in last week, now you've earned it.
So don't tally in another one.
You don't get another one. No. I really wanted you to come back, and I'm glad it was a pleasant experience. Because this worked out well. You did pull it off, but you are the kid who failed at the thing he's tried and then exceeded beyond expectation immediately after in both of your classes. So you're kind of building a rapport, I would say.
I also have burned most of the building down, so I got a lot of things going for me.
You singed some draperies, which I guess you haven't been looking around the room, have been repaired.
Yeah.
Everything is as it should be.
I think as we're leaving the class or whatever, I'm sort of like looking down at my wand and thinking about all of the things that can happen. And I asked Alex, I was like, what happened? I was like unconscious.
Well, before we get back to that, I want to get there. That's what this is all setting up to. So put a pin in that. I just want to make sure everyone knows that as you continue with the classes each week and we are practicing magic, you'll earn more marks to improve your spell checks. For now, creating sparks, fireworks, similar spells will all come much easier to you should you decide you need that. And for everybody watching out there, you have also gained the power to cast colorful sparks. I see that some of you have already been practicing in class. As you have been watching and participating, you have been earning points for your homerooms, but you've also been earning for yourselves what we're going to call mana. So if you look just under the chat, there's a button with a hand casting a little flame, and that's your mana button. It lets you collect all the mana that you have earned in watching our stream and chatting with us and participating in these classes, so that you can then cast your own commands, like making pretty colors on your magical chalkboard. So if you haven't done that yet, give it a whirl. You can represent and celebrate your homerooms with this spell, and just also being a wizard. So we want you to have fun while you're here, and again, more surprises in store. Okay, JJ, class has ended. You can now catch back up with all your friends.
What happened? Everything went. went black, and then I woke up in the hospital room.
So Alex is scanning JJ up and down, really, really looking at him. He's not
Okay.
immediately responding.
Is everything okay, man?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Did you get hit on the head?
No, no, no.
Oh, all right.
So you're the real JJ, right?
Oh my God. What do I need to do to prove to you that I'm the real JJ? What test?
What's something only the real JJ would know?
That you are obsessed with robots?
I'm not obsessed with robots. I'm just it's a very real possibility that if magic is real, robots could be real.
I
And
put my
you could
hand
be a
on
robot that gets
Alex's
you away. Where
shoulder
do they
as
take
he's talking, and I say, Alex, that's crazy. And I walk forward.
Anahit kind of interjects and is just like, JJ, are you okay?
I was trying to figure out what, I mean, yeah, everything just went black. I tried to do stupid magic, and then, I don't know, I just thought I could do it. And then I woke up in the hospital. Some weird lady.
Well, you definitely did it, but you did it a lot.
Did I hurt anybody?
No,
Okay.
just yourself, apparently.
So stupid.
Oh, Alex pipes up, sorry. And he pulls out his class schedule and he says, all right, where is the next class?
What do we have next?
Social studies.
Oh, it says social studies in this voice in my head.
It's also written on your schedule, just so we're clear.
It's also written on my schedule.
Where did you get your schedule? My schedule's clear.
No, what? You got the same schedule as everybody. And I hold my schedule up, and it's also clear. I go, wait.
Oh, social studies, of course.
See, the real Alex would have known it, or the real Alex, the real JJ.
Wait, who said that?
Find it.
Alex, are you sure you're the real Alex?
Of course, I'm the real.
I'm really sorry, guys, that if I scared you. Apparently, the nurse said that I've been, I don't know, repressing my magic because I don't like it very much, and it, I guess, is dangerous. So, sorry. You guys aren't scared of me or anything, right?
No.
Okay.
How's your orangutan?
I kind of look around for my orangutan, and he's just sort of standing there. It's like he's fine. Why? Did he do something to you?
No, I mean, I might have been trying to like. Oh, that's even worse, Kevin. It might have been. I can't even focus. I'm so sorry. That echo is so bad.
Oh,
I think
it's like the output echo of us is in your
Spell.
Yeah, right.
That's so strange because I cannot turn the volume down anymore. I actually don't know where it's coming from because my computer should be muted right now.
That's all right. It probably coming from your second monitor.
It's not.
I don't hear it now, so that's good.
Yeah.
Hey, that's good.
Yeah, that's a lot better. Unless
Okay,
we're like loud. If I get loud, then all of a sudden I see it pop. Oh, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
No, we're
good.
Yeah. All right. Well, you're
I have
orangutan.
no idea what's different.
I don't know.
Great.
It's all good.
As I said, Justin and I, as Twitch's hottest new independently produced, it's just the two of us, and we're doing this one episode at a time, are always striving to improve. So we will continue to do that.
My orangutan was fine. Did he do something to you?
No, he just protected you. No reason.
Okay. he protected me. He didn't hurt anybody, or sometimes he can get a little
No,
aggressive.
no. Maybe one of us wanted to help, give you a little facial, help you with your teenage. I know your hormones are going crazy right now. I get it. Being a couple years older than you, like I've been there. We've all been there. Just
What?
trying to help you out. And Mr. Orangutan wouldn't let me.
Is something wrong with my face?
No.
Why are you looking at me like that?
I mean, I can like. There's one like right there. I just like want to get it.
Just such a okay. Just you know what? We are not there yet. In
All right,
terms
that's
of our
fair.
friendship.
That is fair. That is probably why the orangutan got me as well. I was just asking. Just want to make sure he's okay.
You got kicked out of your last school?
What?
You're touching kids' faces, popping.
I didn't get kicked out. Let's just be clear.
Oh, okay.
I didn't get kicked out. I just maybe didn't pass as many classes that are necessary to continue on.
I think
That's not the same as being kicked out. Thank you very much.
I feel like we should. Okay. Well, I'll let you know when you can exfoliate. I don't know. Not right. Alex, how do we get to the next place we're going?
Aha! Only the real JJ would know. He's a map guy, but you don't seem to have that skill.
Oh, I look down at the map and I start following the map. I was like, oh yeah, that's right. It's on the back. Magic. You know, they could just like put signs up in the hallways or something.
Wait, I thought Anahi was the one who ended up. You reassigned your map duties. If you remember, if you were the real JJ, oh my gosh, Alex might be right.
No,
See?
I'm the
He
real.
did assign that. You reassigned that job to Anahi the last time.
Guys,
That is
come on.
true.
All right, Anahi, continue your. I was unconscious for like 25 minutes. I don't remember.
Do you have amnesia?
No, I don't have amnesia. I feel very embarrassed about what happened and stupid.
Why? It was awesome.
I was burned down the whole room, hurt a bunch of people, and I knocked myself unconscious. That is not awesome.
It's not that bad. I've seen worse.
Really?
Yeah. You thought that was bad? This is day one. You didn't even know you were a wizard until this, like, what, a few weeks ago?
Well,
You
yeah,
gotta
a couple months
relax.
ago.
Yeah, just relax, man. We're all here.
Just wait till we see what you do on day 2.
Oh boy.
It was
And
pretty
you
impressive.
all are there. You have arrived downstairs on the ground floor to your next classroom. As you enter inside, it is just as before, a fairly ordinary stone block room with giant tan bricks on the walls, but decorated differently than before. This one is decorated with lavish cabinets of curiosity, these giant ornate boxes, very exotic looking. There's steamer trunks, stacked chests, all sorts of bric-a-brac and paraphernalia. And a few of them, they're open, they've got shelves, and there's small items just littering throughout. In the center of the front of the room, before all of your chairs where everyone is taking a seat, is a large, dark, polished wood desk with ornate carvings on every side and corner. There's a small tree with an end table on an end table by one window, and on its opposite side is another smaller, taller end table with a vase full of roses. And pacing around this room as if he's gathering a few last minute things is a somewhat short young man with messy blonde hair, blue eyes on a squarish face, wearing a tuxedo, for those who are familiar with non-magical attire or very magical attire, depending on what your plans are for the evening. Pacing around and forth, and he's wearing a tuxedo with tails, but has a very messy collar, so he's not as prim and proper as you would expect. But he finally gathers everyone and says, okay, all right, thank you. All right, take your seats, everyone. Whew. Hi. Good afternoon, kids. I'm Professor O'Neill. Welcome to Modern Cultural Studies. How's everyone doing? And he's looking around the room.
Is he looking for people to raise their hands? I'm just sort of sitting and being like, I'm looking in my
Yeah.
book bag for my book, and I pull out my Forgotten Realms book and then his textbook, and I open them one inside of the other and start to read.
Okay. Anyone else? Wow, everyone has the silence spell cast on them, I guess. That's fine. As I said, welcome to Modern Cultural Studies. If you're joining Haven Hearth from another school, you might know this class under a different name. Non-magical relations, history of the common, normal civics, Fane studies, not studies, can't spell studies, any number of M-word studies. And with so many new students from across the pond using very British slang, you know, I've been hearing a lot of that. But yes, sir, young man.
Yes. What kind of magic do we study in this class?
We'll get to that. I'm glad you asked. We're going to study a different variety of magic, and I was not really into giving it a name, so to speak. The trouble I find with all of these words is that everybody has one. This school is a collection of so many different communities, all with a different name for non-magical people. So to answer your question, we're going to be learning about the non-magical variety of magic.
JJ puts his personal book away, closes both books, and looks up very intently at this man.
You all know that just as we have names for the non-magical, that they have names for us. Anyone? Does anyone know these? Yes?
You mean like a witch or a wizard or what?
Exactly.
Okay.
And for a long time, at least one of those was a bad word. But there's also wonder workers, we were called. Cunning folk, the charmed, magi. But that's the thing, language is always changing. When I was at school, we called the non-magics Harveys. And what is it now?
Can't
Who's
casts.
it? What?
Can't casts.
Can't casts? I heard the as is the other day. Can't spells is absolutely my favorite. I just love that implying that someone can't spell. I can spell. I can spell with words, letters. Point is, people like their labels. We have names for casters, for non-casters, for non-casters from casting families, casters from non-casting families, casters who used to cast and don't cast anymore, and every single thing in between. And then there's this class. We've got first years, underclassmen, upperclassmen, new students, transfer students. You're all students of Modern Cultural Studies with Professor O'Neill. Let's just leave it at that. And you're all here, young man, yes?
There are casters who choose not to cast anymore?
Yes. I forget what the word for them is.
Okay.
Past cast?
You know, that's actually pretty clever. I like that.
Past cast at Richmond High?
Someone else now interjects, why wouldn't they want to cast anymore? It's up to them. It's their decision. Some people find magic to be a useful tool. And as we're going to come to learn in this class, people who don't have magic also have useful tools. So it's really, I guess, just a matter of your choice of lifestyle, what tools you want to use in your daily routine.
Did you say
Another
your last
one.
name is O'Neill?
Yeah.
Are we about to learn about some dinosaurs?
Oh, no, I would love them to cover that in your bestiary,
JJ says laughing in game as
in
well.
your bestiary class. No, we're not going to go that far back. This is modern cultural studies. We're going to stick to the 20th century. So you're all here because you all know about the same stuff in non-magical life in the 20th century. So we're all my kids who grew up in the non-magical places, with non-magical communities. Raise your hands. Don't be shy. Everyone's here on the same. Oh wow, a lot more than I thought. Okay. That's great. But don't think that you're here for an easy A, because you automatically, by being from those communities, got bumped up from the easy social studies class to the awesome social studies class. Sorry, he's just looking around, everyone talking about, like, why would you want to cast magic? This seems dumb. Oh, God, those poor souls. One kid says Professor O'Neill is clearly not a namer. That is a variety of magic for those who aren't aware, which should be most of you, as you guess, all are not from non-magical communities. Okay, so we're not going to talk about pet rocks or rubber ducks or what a light bright was used for. We're going to talk about moving pictures. You all know moving pictures, right?
Like Jurassic Park.
I love you keep going back to that. This is great.
Alex loves robot movies. JJ points at Alex, now getting very into this class.
Yeah.
See, I wasn't expecting so many of you to be from the non-magical community. I'm sure my students who grew up in the wizarding world strictly think about moving pictures as the images in their newspapers and magazines. Well, let me ask everyone this. Who knows the story about a kid who lived a miserable life with his aunt and uncle until one day a bearded stranger in a tattered robe told him he was a wizard? And if the boy was willing to leave his ordinary life behind, he could learn to use the same mystic powers. The only trouble was the young boy's mentor had long ago taught an exceptionally powerful wizard who turned evil and began to call himself a lord of the dark side. And because of an ancient prophecy, it was up to that boy to defeat him. Who knows this story? Anyone?
That doesn't exist.
Suddenly no hands are up? Young man.
That story hasn't happened yet?
Star Wars?
That's right. Star Wars. It was a movie, as they're called, a motion picture in a long format called a feature film, released in 1977 at what they called the New Hollywood. And it is legendary. He pulls out a toy wand that, for all of you who are raised in the Muggle communities, recognize as being the strictly straight black with white tips wand.
Magician's wand.
Yes. For a long time, non-magical people have been praised for their ingenuity. It was great. The kid who was like, he's not a namer, was like, yeah, Star Wars rules. So he's feeling good because everyone's like, okay, all right, yeah, Star Wars. Kids are going, Star Wars are awesome. This is great. He goes, long time, non-magical people
Whoa.
were praised for their ingenuity. But when they try to do magic, and he leans down towards Alex, who's flailing in the front row, and he produces a bouquet of flowers where his wand used to be. At you.
Oh, thank you. I have a question. I have a question.
All right. Now everyone's full of questions. This is great.
Yes. Great. Is Star Wars real?
All right, let's not get ahead of ourselves about what's real and what's fake. Don't think of it in terms.
That's a fair question, because magic wasn't real in my life until it came and kind of ruined everything. So if, like, TIE fighters are going to come down and like ruin this new part of my life, I would actually like to know that.
If the question is, was Star Wars a documentary, I'm very sorry to say it's not. And if it was, it happened a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away.
Very far, I hope.
I really appreciate how you're willing to believe it. You're willing to accept it, because that belief is the magic that the non-magical community can create. We think it's silly and that they should be embarrassed when compared to what some would call the real thing. And he pulls out another one. Now this one is a piece of striated ebony wood with an alabone shell tip. It is very beautiful and kind of weird and looks more comparable to the wands that everyone in the class is wielding. And now he points back behind himself at the tree on the table, the little table against the wall. And after he points at it and brings his focus back to you, out of the corner of your eye, if you're paying attention to the tree, blossoms start to appear all over it. And he continues. But what they do is awesome. It's literally full of awe. And the blossoms start to wither and oranges start to take its place. And he points at you with his wand, Anahit.
Annie's like really excited by that. She's like, how can I do that? Because that was amazing.
I'm sure you'll get to Green Magic and they'll tell you everything you need to know about spells like this. It's a little advanced. Well, again, what we're going to focus on is a different variety of magic, but I'm so glad everyone is excited because when it comes to moving pictures, what we can do is amazing, but what they can do, what they did is something entirely new. And he walks over to one of the large cabinets, and with his wand, he unlocks it, opens it up, and then walks back to the tree and says, and granted, and then he takes one of the oranges and he tosses it to you, Anahit. Says, as of today, they only have frozen photographs in their newspapers and magazines. And then he now walks back to he pulls down a projector screen in front of the tree and takes up most of the back room. And then he walks back over to the cabinet and he goes, today, and then climbs inside the cabinet. He goes, we don't have anything like this. And he plays a scene from Star Wars. So you all may or may not be familiar with it, but it's of a pilot kind of running the ranks, very official, warning a younger pilot about getting too close to heavy fire. And then these guys, one with a mustache named Biggs and another one with a goatee named Porkins, they go in for an attack. And then all of a sudden, these stormtroopers, these guys in white suits, are caught in an explosion. And then there's a heavy turret and it's firing back at Porkins, but Porkins is caught in it and he explodes. And then it just ends. And he pops out of the cabinet and says, now movies weren't always like this. What you saw was the result of decades worth of movie magic, which does include a little bit of actual magic, but it was started by a non-magical person named Thomas Edison. Now let's start not in New Hollywood with the picture you just saw, but back in old Hollywood, around the turn of the century, because it was the turn of the century that the history of magic and the history of what's called cinema intersected. Non-magical and wizarding relationships became more complex as wizard talents followed the example of some of their peers and partnered with non-magical innovators to push this brand new industry, cinema, of movie making, forward. Most notably was that of Thomas Edison with the Edison Manufacturing Company and his partner, a wizard actor named Xander Sinclair. Does anyone know of any of these names? Looking around the room.
I've heard of Thomas Edison before.
Thomas Edison, right? He is Edison. You've also heard, everyone's heard of Edison?
Mm-hmm.
Raise your hand if you've heard of Edison. All right. Yes, the famed inventor, Thomas Alva Edison, who patented the motion picture camera, along with many other devices, but the motion picture camera was a non-magical device that manufactured what was people believed at the time was a crude imitation of wizard photography. Someone chimes up, a huge Sinclair fan. He goes, oh, okay, and who knows a Xander Sinclair?
Like the gas?
No, the actor. The Wizarding World's first movie star. A lot of you know about movies, right? Yeah? Kid's like, yeah, he's way underrated. I agree. Okay, well, let's start from the beginning. Thomas Alva Edison, who you are all familiar with, he built the first movie studio. It was called Black Maria Studios in New Jersey, and he used to showcase motion pictures such as Professor Welton's Boxing Cats. It wasn't always a hit. Now, he was creating movies just like J. Stewart Blackton, Georges Millet. Georges Millet. You know Georges Millet?
Yeah.
Oh, he's my absolute favorite. But do you have a favorite picture of his or?
The moon one.
The new one.
The moon one.
Voyage to the Moon. I don't know the
Yeah.
French title. Actually, if I even tried to say it, it would still sound like Voyage to the Moon because that was charm. But yeah, my favorite too. It's a classic. It's a classic. Anyway, they were wizards who partnered. Well, George did it all himself, but J. Stewart Blackton, he partnered with a man named Albert E. Smith to found Vitagraph Studios and become the most prolific American film company. So, following the example of this, a lot of wizards partnered with non-magical communities or non-magical people to create their own. So, Thomas Alva Edison, who had founded the Edison Manufacturing Company to make motion picture projectors and had his own studio, partnered with the most talented and prolific wizard movie star of the era, Xander Sinclair, and formed this alliance that helped propel movie making into the future. And they made Cat's Box? And he goes, no, it's all movie magic, which is what we're going to get into. Okay. So, Edison persuaded other patent holders to form this consortium, and the Motion Picture Patents Company is what it'd be called, also known as the Edison Trust. And he was a big powerhouse. Now, another man named Carl Laemmle, does anyone know that name? Anyone? Carl Laemmle?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alex is just leaving at this point. He is completely
Yeah, I mean,
gone.
I've been to Universal. I'm from California. It's 1998, baby. I've been on the Jurassic Park ride.
That's right. Carl Laemmle's company made Jurassic Park. I'm not sure if he's still alive today. But anyway, trust me, this story has a fun ending. Carl Laemmle built his own motion picture studio called the Independent Moving Pictures Company because Edison had built this monopoly in the film industry and was even going so far as to lure celebrities and movie stars over to his new studio. Now, Edison, the self-proclaimed Wizard of Menlo Park, thought himself a great man and was not accustomed to being disrespected this way, or in his eyes is how he puts it. So he tried to sue the unauthorized use of his equipment because as a non-magical person, that's what he had going for him. He even hired thugs to enforce his patents and shake down Carl Laemmle and all these other filmmakers filming on his motion picture cameras. So these independent filmmakers decided to ignore all that. They continued using pirated equipment. They refused to pay the license fees and created a black market. This is where it gets really exciting. Eventually, to get away from Edison, they all fled to California and joined vaudeville theaters who were switching over to motion pictures, like the Silver Drake. That was a notable one. It used to be a wizard club, then it became a stage magic club, which is, and he points at Alex, what non-magical people call magic. And we've been visited by Link, which means it's time to check in with our familiars. How's everyone's familiars doing?
My orangutan is just sitting on the floor and picking bugs off of himself and eating them.
Luna's upstairs sleeping.
Upstairs sleeping. How's Diamond doing?
Diamond was eyeing the fruit that you gave Anna a while ago, waiting to see what Anna's going to do with it.
Oh.
I mean, Anna, have you eaten the fruit?
She just has it on her desk.
Just has it sitting on her desk. All right. That's funny. Well, okay. Well, because Lincoln got involved, and so Professor O'Neill notices the possum who's leaning out of your bag and sniffing, and he's kind of like, "Oh, that's new." So he goes as he's ranting and going on this lecture. He goes behind the curtain, reaches behind it, grabs another orange, and he tosses it over to you.
Nice.
He says,
Diamond happily accepts it. Everything, peel and all. Seeds, possums are great. They, they eat everything and
The
anything.
aroma
They're great.
emanates through the classroom. He continues. So vaudeville auditoriums like the Silver Drake converted themselves into motion picture theaters to welcome this budgeting community that was building itself far away from Edison's influence. And it was perfect. There was a railway hub. They could store their equipment in Mexico if the cops ever showed up. They could build an empire. And they did. Carl Laemmle's International Motion Picture Studio consolidated with other independent studios and formed the Universal Film Manufacturing Company. And then notable wizards like Adolf Zukor got involved with his partner and formed what became Paramount Studios. I hope these names are ringing a bell for some of you kids.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, Adolf Zukor, hired a French movie star to distribute her film Queen Elizabeth in order to bring in feature films to the mainstream, because all the while, all Edison was making with Sandra Sinclair were short films. He had evolved from boxing cats. Just want to make sure that orange is getting by and doing Diamond fine. Yeah, she enjoying the orange?
Oh yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you, Lynn.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, Diamond she's just licking the last little bits of the orange juices off of her adorable little possum paws, and just staring, and has tucked herself back into my little bedazzled bag, but is staring just in case there's like more food,
Yeah.
I look over at Alex and see that he's like starting to nod off, and I kind of like nudge him a little bit on the side.
What? Oh, hey. Are we doing the magic now?
We're talking about robots.
He joins in. He joins in the riveting conversation that's happening. Now, Edison didn't like feature films. He just didn't like them. So he didn't support the notions of bringing in movie stars and films over 20 minutes. So he denied the wizard Adolf Zukor the patents, the license he needed to screen the film. But Zukor did it anyway. He's a nonconformist, just like me. So now Zukor, Carl Laemmle, William Fox, they all formed this antitrust against Edison's trust, trying to chip away at his influence even more. Then it got really heated, and I do mean literally, when a manufacturing vault in Philadelphia exploded. Link, you gotta stop, buddy. All right, come on. Get down. I appreciate you.
Link should go cuddle with Luna.
You should. Go cuddle with Luna.
You go.
Anyway. A manufacturing vault exploded in Philadelphia that caused a fire, destroying his entire laboratory. And then, the Philadelphia vault exploded. And then the next day, there was a fire in Edison's laboratory. So a war was literally raging. And who was to say whether or not it was with magic or with non-magical ingenuity? But things were getting out of hand. A nitrate fire then followed in the famous Player Studio, what would eventually be Paramount, in New York, destroying many of their completed but not yet released films that all now had to be remade. So it got bad. Finally, the U.S. government stepped in and ruled that the Motion Pictures Patents Company, Edison's Trust, became too monopolistic, and they had to dissolve it, completely end him. His partner, Xander Sinclair, did not respond well. He officially broke ties with Edison and moved west to go found his own picture studio with a focus on wizarding audiences, the first of his kind. So, despite having been found in Fort Lee, New Jersey, Fox also relocated to Hollywood. Everyone was moving over, leaving Edison behind. Famous players joined with another company to form, and then another one, forming Paramount. Everybody was growing and getting bigger and bigger, but meanwhile, Edison's deal was getting smaller and smaller. And then in the middle of it all was Xander Sinclair. Now, American cinema had reached its landmark with its narrative and visual style about 1917. And that's what we call classic Hollywood. But despite this, movie theaters like the Silver Drake were converting themselves away from movies as movie theaters were popping up all over the place. So the wizarding presence was dwindling. Xander Sinclair wanted to found his own studio called Sterling Studios. He would make magical motion pictures for a magical audience. He was already dubbed the sorcerer of the silver screen, and he wanted to lean in hard with that. Now, by April 9th, Universal had completely ended the Edison's company. In fact, Universal was part of the final Supreme Court case that ended Edison's entire business. And it was... I want to get my dates right, guys, because I actually think this is freaking hilarious.
Go Carl Emley. Uncle Carl.
Yeah, no, this is... I absolutely love this. Oh, did I... Well, I forget exactly when this... Professor has a moment. Well, I forget exactly when this happened. But not only did Carl Laemmle have the final court case to completely ruin Edison, but he made Edison the guest of honor at the ribbon-cutting ceremony of his brand new Universal Pictures Studios.
You know, I
March
might
in
have
Hollywood,
heard. I might have
1915.
heard. Yeah, I've taken the tour. It's definitely March 15th, 1915.
Awesome, thank you.
Yeah.
Yes.
That is some
Points to
vindictive
Ruby House.
stuff. He
Isn't
invited
that
him to be
incredible?
the guest of honor? That's so mean.
He made him the guest of honor, I think specifically for like the electrical department. It's the best revenge I've ever heard in my life. So chalk it up to non-magical ingenuity, everyone. Yes, Anahit.
Oh,
What about Nikola Tesla? Was he an actual wizard?
Yes. I think it's widely known that Nikola Tesla was an actual wizard who just liked to become involved in the non-magic experimentation of the time. Because going back to stage magic, as non-magical people were performing their imitation of magic. Because, and this is the point of this entire lecture, everyone. At the beginning of the 20th century, wizards and non-magical people were starting to get along. And while the governments weren't really akin to everyone sharing their secrets, they, like the Hollywood community or the film community, all moved westward to escape that influence. And Hollywood became this kind of hub for magical and non-magical relationships, where they would exchange ideas, get to know each other, and become more of a mixed community, not separated by these notions of borders and segregation. And it was a fantastic beginning to a whole new world for innovation. So we had non-magical people performing wizardry, what we call stage magic. And then, as stage magic was performing in auditoriums and theaters around the country to delight those audiences, just the same, scientists in the non-magical community were doing the same thing to demonstrate electricity and new ideas such as that. And that was a fascinating concept to a lot of people in the magical community, like Nikola Tesla. Now, yes.
well, if there's so much working together, why is everything still so kept separate now? In secret?
It's just the way of history, which will be the remainder of this class. We will get into these details a little more as we go on. But let me share an example with you, that of Xander Sinclair. See, Xander Sinclair followed everyone who was trying to build a new community of filmmakers who shared their technology, who shared their innovations and their ideas, free from thugs who would shake them down and force them to pay patents. They wanted to be artists who create. And similarly, wizards and non-magical people got together to share and create with one another. But Xander was a little different. Xander wanted to be a milestone. He wanted to be the innovator who focused on his fellow wizard folk in a non-magical innovation, cinema. So he founded Sterling Studios and started making short films based on our fairy tales. that later would be followed. The example would be followed by one Walt Disney, who created fairy tales from his community into animation and those motion pictures. But Xander did it first. He then decided he wanted to branch out in a way that Thomas wouldn't allow and create feature films. In 1921, the two highest grossing films of the year were released. Charlie Chaplin's directorial debut, The Kid, and a war epic called The Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse. And I'll get to why that one became significant. Now, Charlie Chaplin was a big silent film star who moved over into what eventually would become talking pictures, and also directing. And Xander wanted to do the same thing. He was a silent film star who mugged for the camera, but thought he could outdo Charlie by beating him to sound. Xander vowed to surpass Chaplin's example by not only writing, directing, and starring and producing in a film, but doing in the first ever audible feature film. It hadn't happened yet in 1921. And that film would mark the return, the debut, the breakthrough of wizard-only cinema. The short films he was making with Sterling Studios weren't really taking off because theaters weren't segregated. Non-magical and magical people could attend any theater, whereas he was trying to create innovations and tell stories that only resonated with the magical community. But he was determined. So he invested a great deal, and he got other movie studios to do the same thing. Broadway's very first $1 million theater, the Lowe's State, opened in anticipation of his masterpiece, followed then by the Chicago Theater, which is still the oldest surviving French Baroque revival grand movie palace, in case anyone was wondering. But they were making these innovations for him. They were installing sound equipment for him. But his promise of sound was unfulfilled. He just couldn't find the magical way to create. Someone goes, talkies. And he goes, yes, talkies, that they were called. He knew how to translate a voice onto a physical object, but he couldn't break sound, special effects, music. He tried and tried, but his effort went unwarranted. Unfortunately, and this might answer your question, in an effort to recuperate their investment, the studios decided to re-edit and repackage the film as a standard silent picture. His grand masterpiece never saw its light and went from being his masterpiece, unfortunately, to his swan song. And he fell out of prominence, following the career of people like Fatty Arbuckle, if you know who that is, and the meteoric rise of a new heartthrob in cinema, Rodolfo Valentino, the star of the Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse. Xander Sinclair decided to bow out from Hollywood, and his exit went unnoticed by the public. 2 years later, non-magical innovation saw his realization, and the first commercial screening of a motion picture using what was called no-so technology started producing sound. And then finally, 4 years after that, in 1927, the first ever living sound motion picture, The Jazz Singer, was produced by Vitagraph Studios, who started this whole story way back in the beginning. It's really quite a story. And he points to you on a heat.
What about that horror movie, The Terror? Like, I heard that one was really the first talkie because The Jazz Singer was really only like a few lines, and then the guy was just singing. But The Terror was like a full talking movie.
Again, people love their labels. And as I said, The Jazz Singer wasn't the first film, not even commercial film, to use sound. It was just the first one to popularize the feature. France had always been the epicenter of innovation in cinema. Most of the wizards who partnered with the American non-magical innovators came from the old country. Some of them being France. So, but the point of the ending here is that Xander Sinclair's first feature film, there was the Countryman and the Alchemist, which was his first feature. That one was a silent picture. It was about a really helpful wizard who befriends a somewhat an amiable but a little hapless farmer and teaches him the benefits of the magical life. But that was his first feature film. His first one was Sound, was supposed to be called wow, it escapes me right now. The trouble with all this history is that film preservation didn't really begin until 1935, decades after Sinclair's era, even Chaplin's. So it started when a Museum of Modern Art in New York started collecting Edison's original biographs and films and the largest collection of D.W. Griffith films. And then it was Paris followed suit because, again, France is the innovator here with collecting an international film collection. It didn't begin until 1935, and then it didn't really take off until about a decade later with the two big film preservation institutions that actually still exist and are holding on to all of this stuff. Sorry, the name of his film escapes me, and it's killing me. Perhaps one of you in the class, my fellow Xander Sinclair fan, knows the title of this one, because I forgot. But that was the legacy, the short-lived legacy of magical motion pictures. There was only one studio that ever attempted producing it. It only ever made one film, which unfortunately was edited down, then not preserved, and it might be lost to time. No one really knows. There was only the one projector that he built because he wasn't like Edison and had people working for him to create his inventions. Sorry, yes.
Were there any witches involved in early magical filmmaking, or is it just wizards?
There were, when I say wizards, I'm using that term to mean everyone. Witches, wizards, warlocks, the whole shebang. I believe.
Was there a Mary Pickford of the wizarding community?
Remind me what Mary Pickford did.
She was a director and an actress.
And an actress.
I think she had her own studio also, possibly. I don't know. My brother is really into film history, so that's the only reason I know all of this. But I am interested in like the female angle.
Well, I'm sorry to say that I don't have all of those details about early cinema, especially early magical cinema, as there's really not a whole lot to talk about. To answer your question, there were witches and warlocks both involved in early cinema. Mostly, though, with the non-magical side of things. They worked in partnership to help create the special effects that led to the stuff that we saw today in Star Wars film. These innovations that were kind of got the head start, got the ball rolling, so to speak. So I can't say that there was a magical community's version of Mary Pickford because, to my knowledge, Xander Sinclair was the only wizard director who ever decided to take it all on himself. Everybody else felt like it would be a worthwhile partnership. Even the Warner Brothers, they owned the studio, but they were hiring all sorts of witches and wizards and warlocks to help them out.
Did they know?
Mm-hmm.
Did they know they were hiring witches and wizards?
Yes, and that's the thing is everybody was the statutes of secrecy and these rules and borders. That was very much an East Coast thing. And as everyone went west, and they settled in Los Angeles purely because it was a transportation hub that everyone could get to, magical or non-magical means.
Well, so after Sinclair left the movies, did they continue to hire witches and wizards? Or, I mean, what happened to them? I mean, did they have to give up knowing that they were working with people with real magic, or?
Well, that's a question that kind of goes throughout the ages. So that's old Hollywood. The infancy of Hollywood is what I described, from moving from silent pictures to talkies. And it kind of ended when talkies came around in the late 1920s. And by the 1950s, it was what's called the golden age of Hollywood. It evolved. And I think that's where it started phasing out because audiences were demanding new things. It wasn't quite the innovation, the awe-inspiring Technicolor wonder that it used to be to audiences. They were now coming to motion pictures not to be awed and dazzled by the sheer concept of being able to see a train run at them, but because they got to see their favorite celebrities and hear songs.
Mm.
And then by the time new Hollywood came around in the 1970s, I mean, you saw a bit of glimpse of that earlier, it became more of, there was so much involvement and ingenuity on behalf of the non-magical community that they're really just, they had matched what wizard magic could do on film. So they slowly phased out, and as I'm sure most of our wizarding community students can attest to, it just wasn't really a part of wizard culture anymore. It just occurred to me. The Countryman and the Alchemist was the last film. And I always forget that it was edited down to be a silent picture, even though it was supposed to be a talking picture. His first feature film was called The Magic Hour, which is where we get the expression in film. If anybody's ever made a movie or done photography, even, if anyone's ever done non-magical photography, there's a thing called The Magic Hour, and it was inspired by Xander Sinclair. That's his lasting contribution. And there's a kid being like, yeah, but what about the lightsabers? Again, that is non-magical special effects, and it continues to evolve. So, and we'll see when we get to Star Wars that it keeps evolving. And because I don't know if anybody saw, but they just re-released the movies. Star Wars. They just put them back in theaters, and they're all different, like a little bit. It's really exciting. I know they're gonna make another one. Can't wait.
Yeah, I heard they were going to make a couple more.
Vaguely awake at this point, and just incredibly not interested in the lesson going on. Alex has been fiddling with his wand for probably the entirety of the time that he's been semi-conscious since he got woken up. And I think he's going to take this moment to realize that, given the last class, he thinks he might be able to make a kind of lightsaber spell with his wand. So he's just going to do that.
You and I are sitting right next to each other, by the way.
Sure thing.
Okay, love this. All right, tell me how you're doing it, and what color is your saber?
So he thinks he knows how to do the he's just gonna do a blue one, just like the classic. And so he thinks he knows how to do the light spell from earlier. So he just has to color it and put a cap on it, the sunlight spell, right?
Well, basically, you have to do the Roman candle spell that you saw JJ do.
Yeah, I guess it's more similar to that. So he's gonna try to pull that off, and that's what he's aiming to do. He's just kind of sitting there focusing on his
wand. And he's doing this out of sheer boredom.
Absolutely.
Okay, fine. That works for me. So roll grit. Okay. Fight. You're fighting.
Yeah, it's a lightsaber. I love this.
Yeah.
What is my fight?
Huh. Oh, and okay, so sorry, I gotta calculate in my brain what this is worth. Let's see. You want to keep it. And you want it to be shaped like a lightsaber?
Oh yeah, he's just trying to see if he can do it.
Let's call this a 9.
Awesome.
I'm surprised it's not higher.
Let me add my wizard modifier or my D4. You know what I mean? Ooh, it exploded, which is great because it started with a 2.
Oh boy.
Um,
Oh boy.
We're at 6.
I'm right next to you. Please don't hurt me.
so we got a okay. 2 plus 4 plus 3. Give me a number.
Huh? 2 plus 4 plus 3?
That's 9.
That's 9.
That's
You matched it.
9 on the dot.
Okay. Well, no, you don't get the cool sound effect. You weren't that amazing.
Oh no, he's going to supply his own.
Love it. Okay, so yeah, so a blue light emanates from your wand, and
He tries to like hide it under the desk, but he's like,
For fuck's sake.
no, it comes up from the desk. So everyone would see this blue rod appear, glowing light, so it's very noticeable, emanating
Doing?
from you.
I like scoot away. I'm like, what? Alex, what's happening?
I'm doing Star Wars.
Is it like hot? Well, I mean, am I like in danger of getting burned by this lightsaber?
And he puts his hand over it, because he thinks he's just doing the light. How's it feel?
Oh no.
What?
Let's get the name.
Okay. So Professor O'Neill notices this. Is all right. Let's put the wands away, please. And put the lightsabers down. I'm glad you're excited, but we're gonna keep focusing on magical innovation in old Hollywood. And
were
how they
the
all got involved.
lightsabers, were they made by magical people, or were they not witches and wizards in that movie?
He's focused on trying to put away the projector back in its big giant cabinet and lock it up. So he's not really paying attention to the class. He hears your question and goes, that's a really interesting story. And there's a lot of special effects that went involved in that. So
JJ also tries to make a lightsaber as well.
You do?
Alex has done it so good. Yes.
Okay.
You do.
Influence.
I want you to roll. How are you approaching it?
I mean, I feel like playing pretend with my friends is like the thing that we would do all the time we were hanging out. So it's sort of like a fond. And I'm like, all right, this kid's kind of weird and like, she's made a lightsaber in class, which is what you're not supposed to do. But I mean, if he can do it, I can do it, right? Magic, I guess, has no rules. So let's go for it.
Let's call that charm. I don't know. How's your charm again?
Yes.
That's not bad. You've done this spell before. You're just refining it. So for you, I had him do a 9. I just need you to do a 7.
Sweet. I kind of focus and I put my tongue out and then I roll a 2. Oh boy.
Hey, it's how I started too. You can do this.
Oh no, I got a 5. I get a diversity token. If someone wants to help me out, they can.
What do you need? You just need 1?
I need 2 more.
You can have one of mine.
So I kind of pull
I'll
out.
give
I'm
you
just
one
like,
too.
like that, trying to make it happen.
Really should be discouraging this behavior. You guys helping him out to disrupt class. Y'all be losing so many house points.
You're not answering my question, Professor, if it was magic or not. We're just trying to either prove or disprove.
Sorry.
So you should really be proud of us.
Sorry. I was taking a moment to pause to see what JJ was up to. He's putting away the projector, and there was that was the pause. As he said, we're going to get to special effects, but to better understand that, we've got to start at the beginning.
Focusing
and then he latches the cabinet shut, and then turns, stepping out from behind the cabinet that he's latched shut, to see what color was it.
I mean, I was going for blue again, but and then I just think of the color red for some reason, just keeps popping into my head.
He's this like
Well,
Alex
they're helping
is.
me with. How are they helping me with their assist beams?
Oh right, sorry, I
Yeah, do I
forgot.
have to eat some beans? Will I
Yes,
eat a
if you're gonna
bean?
spend your adversity tokens on this, you're gonna have to eat a
Yeah.
bean.
I mean, I still have 4 left. So yeah, I'll give. And then
Spending two.
Anna, you're
Are
you're
you
having one.
spending any?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Are you guys like
I'll give you
behind
one too.
behind JJ, rubbing his shoulders, be like encouraging him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The whole class is silent. And keep in mind, class, you all can start casting spells and disrupting class too now. Oh, they're eating beans. I
no.
gotta catch up. All right, these are
That's a
mine.
good one.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Mine's good.
Oh no.
Oh man,
Oh no.
Kevin has the worst. Oh no.
Mine's just a weird combo. It's like buttery pineapple or something.
Oh god. Katie's got the hot one.
I'm gonna get a glass of water.
Okay, so teacher is put off by this. You do make the spell. So yours is it's a tinge rougher. It's a tinge rougher. So yours ends up flickering to red, and it's a little craggly. So without making it, you essentially you don't know what Kylo Ren's lightsaber looks like, but you guess you kind of make that.
Yeah, word.
A student in
I
class
kinda-
goes, "Oh, not again!" When yours just starts flickering and like they start kind of like cowering a
Oh,
little
I hear
bit.
him say that, and I go, and I get kind of embarrassed, and I like try to put it out.
No, but then no, they do that as it's flickering, but then it stabilizes. So everyone's like, but nothing, no pops happen. So everyone's like, oh, okay. And the two of you are standing next to each other with a red and blue lightsaber.
Well, when he told me to put it away, I put it under the desk, but definitely didn't turn it off. So it was just kind of out of view. But now that there's another one there, I raise it. And
As you raise it, a student screams, "Now duel! Duel! Now!"
We definitely duel.
I'm sorry, I read that wrong. It's now duel! Now duel! So they're trying to incite a chant. We'll see if in the chat it catches on.
We definitely start to duel for
Absolutely.
sure.
Nothing will stop us. Wild horses.
I faint left and go right.
Oh,
Check his guard.
That's a fight roll, friend.
Oh, snap.
Yeah, you
my
guys are
fight
doing
is-
fight rolls at each other now.
I actually don't want
absolutely
to
do.
fight at all.
Well,
So
it's
oh
like
no,
not
my
a
dice
wrestling, right?
exploded. I got 5, and then do I get to roll my magic dice as well?
Say it again.
I got a 5. Do I roll my magic dice as well? Because I'm using my wand.
You're not creating a new spell.
Okay, so I got a 5.
You know what I need you to do though? I need you. This is separate. We're not adding this to your rolls. You roll a 5 and fight. But now that you guys are trying to sustain this spell longer than you had done before, I need you both to roll your magic die again.
Okay.
You really only need to be. You need to make a 2.
Okay.
I'll keep it simple.
Roll our original modifying die, so I'd roll.
Yeah,
triumph.
just roll that the D4 for me.
Yeah, I got a 5.
I'm breaking the rules as I often do because again, Professor O'Neill's a nonconformist.
I got a 3 both times with both my fight and my assisting.
Okay, well you have your lightsaber still going, JJ.
Yeah, I got
Great.
5.
You both are now lightsaber dueling, and JJ does the check move and gets around on your side and cuts through you, so to speak. So light just passes.
Yeah.
I like kind of stop after I do that, like not thinking, and look at him wide-eyed, and I'm like, "Are you okay?"
And I just like fade down. I just fall to the floor.
I drop my wand
no!
and like
What I do is I try to crumple my robes over me, like I am just robes now. Like
I sort of look. Can I tell? Can you? I don't know if I can tell you if you're joking or not.
I mean, I'm clearly still there. I'm just covering myself with my robes, so I try to pull an Obi-Wan.
Oh, okay, got it. Okay, so you're
Yeah.
okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. and I keep my lightsaber up, and I'm like actually enjoying myself with magic for like the first time ever. So I'm laughing.
Oh my god! I just realized what happened. So y'all don't know this, but Professor O'Neill was debating on which scene to show everyone that would be the most impressive, and I guess he picked the right one because everyone's going off about Star Wars. But the lightsabers weren't anywhere in those scenes, and so he's kind of like taken back a bit that you guys are reenacting the Darth Vader Obi-Wan duel that was, I'm not joking, my second choice. So he comes out from seeing this box and seeing you guys, and he's just like, he's so caught off guard. Because you're doing it, the tall kid with the red saber just cut through the kid holding the blue saber and put his hood up. And so for a moment, he's like, oh God, is the kid going to dissolve in front of him? That he's not stopping this because he's just a little in shock. Which is my way of letting this happen. As kids in the chat, no, it's just the one kid screaming, duel! But the one who was egging everyone's like, yeah, carnage! That one sounds like a troublemaker to me. But yeah, so you guys are fighting, and he's gonna let you do another turn, I guess.
I think I just do a flourish. So after you collapse, I kind of just like flourish my wand so it goes out, at the end.
Nice.
And JJ's got just like this
Alex,
stupid
did you
giant
collapse?
grin on his face.
Yeah, no, I collapsed. I did the scene for my character.
This is amazing. I did not play for any of those, and I love it. Incredible, just absolutely incredible. So he comes over and like goes to check on you. You fell back, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he comes foot forward, ready to like touch you with his feet out of instinct, but sees that there's actually still a child there, and he picks you up, and
I do kind of look closely at Alex because I am a little worried that I actually hurt him. So like I have this big grin on my face, but I'm also like, "Are you okay?"
Yeah, you're the real JJ.
Really?
Oh man. Jeez. All right, so he comes over and he picks you guys up, and he says, hand over the wands. He's a fun guy. He says, hand over the sabers.
I
Come on.
give him my wand. Sorry.
And then I try to release the spell to my mind.
What?
I do like the lightsaber powering down sound. And I give him my wand.
He takes the wands and he holds them and in front of you, and he's doing his best effort to be stern, but he's just such like a naturally cheeky kind of guy. And he says, 10 points from each of your houses for disrupting class. 2 points back because it was awesome.
I'm like, smile.
He then walks over to not the cabinet that he got the projector, he stashed the projector in, which, sorry, you all heard it was a projector. The non-magical kids probably didn't notice there was a projector in there.
Mm-hmm.
He walks over to the other cabinet that is not locked, and he says, you'll get them back after class, and he just leaves them in the cabinet and shuts it on a shelf. And then he goes to resume his class. So you all get this in-depth lecture that is far greater than what I ran down already. About how some of the names he talked about: Adolf Zukor, Carl Laemmle, William Fox, the Warner Brothers, Thomas Edison, Xander Sinclair, so on and so on. All these people who founded their own studios and how that worked, and how Xander Sinclair, I'll go into a little bit of it. Why not? In Hollywood, used to frequent. He wanted to build his magical studio right in the center of all of the others, so that if you were to draw a line straight through Hollywood, you would pass through Circus Studios, which was Charlie Chaplin and I think United Artists was Charlie Chaplin and D.W. Griffiths. Their studios, it was affectionately called the Circus. You could pass through that. Xander Sinclair found a lot in the center of town. And then it was, I think, the Warner Brothers and Fox. Like, they were all in the same line. Universal was the only one in a different spot. And eventually, and that's where he founded Sterling Studios, because he wanted to be in the middle of Hollywood. And he could then go to what looked like a storage unit, like if you're all in LA, you've seen these giant storage unit skyscrapers that that the wizarding community, everyone would stash their movie props and their set pieces there. But to the non-magical people, it looked like just an ordinary storage unit. But that's where he would kind of try to work on his projects. And then he would then entertain investors at a little castle on the hill, which at the time just looked like a Japanese garden to the not magically inclined, called the Magic Castle. It was the first wizards-only club in Hollywood. And he would just go around and entertain these people at the storage unit thing, under the guise of I'm dropping off props and set pieces. That was a club. Where affluent wizards of the day would hang out. And he would just ping back and forth, just trying to get investments from these people. And meanwhile, everyone was making movies around him. Unfortunately, his studio was not very successful, so it became this empty space, and people believed that what used to be the Paramount lot, because they moved, was a cursed land. And some people say Xander Sinclair cursed it, and other people say, well, he got cursed back. And there's just a lot of hubbub and mystery about what happened in those final years as all of the motion picture studios were getting settled, and the one wizarding studio was kind of edged out of business. So he goes on about that. That's your class. Now, as we here in the real world approach the 9 o'clock hour, I'm going to say that class ended. You all earn a mark in brains or grit for your efforts. I say grit because some of you were trying to stay awake and it was really hard.
So I see. So brooms, charms, and then the third thing, we put our marks in this third line. We just write social studies, and then we put a mark in it.
Yes. So if you chose brains as over charm for charms class, and you chose brains now, that means you would get a +1 to your brains rolls. Trying to lose the Professor O'Neill voice. Pardon me.
What was brooms again? Was brooms either brains or...
Was brawn or flight.
I see. I see how I should label these now.
If anybody did choose +1, go ahead and let me know, because it might come in handy.
I did. Yeah,
Brains.
I got a +1 and... Oh, I did do brains. I did charm.
Yeah, I
Okay,
took
so then
brains
you've got a
and
mark
ones.
in brains and charm, and the next time you get a mark in one of those classes, the next time we take one of these classes, you'll get something, if not both. No one's got 2 brains marks, 2 gold stars. 2 gold stars in brains, both of you?
Unfortunately, I'm not power building. I'm building towards whatever I felt like I did more of in each class. So
I respect the heck out of that.
That's what I'm doing. I took grit for charms because I burned down the building, and I took charm for social studies because I feel charmed by all the magic I got to do here in this non-magical class.
Okay. So you guys are just still earning gold stars, working your way up, and that's awesome. And it's fitting because your wands are currently separated from you. Paris, you now have a +1 to your brains rolls. Anahit, you have +1 to your brain rolls already when doing magic. Now you just have an additional +1 anytime. And that's how the game works, everyone.
We did it.
You're doing it. You're doing it. And don't forget, everybody out there in the chat, you still have the ability to cast Colorful Sparks whenever you feel like it. So, boys, I'm going to give you your ability to cast Magical Sparks back. Well, not give it back. Class is over.
Okay.
Professor...
Oh, sorry, yes, okay.
Professor O'Neill is putting everything back. He's making sure that the one cabinet is locked. He's pulling up the screen. He's checking on his orange tree. He's checking on his roses. He's got a lot of bric-a-brac around here. And he was just so caught up in the class that he kind of forgot to give you your wands back. So he's now standing at the door, saying goodbye to all of his students. And where are the four of you?
I kind of wanted to. Sorry, go.
I mean, I know Alex immediately went to get his wand back because it is something that he's consistent in. Mister, can I have my wand back, please?
Oh, right, your wands. Sorry, I completely forgot. I'll be right back. And he goes down the front of the class and he opens up the cabinet and he looks and okay. He got your two wands and he just is admiring them a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And he hands them back to you and just says,
"Is he handing me both of our wands to like give to him as well?"
No, I'm standing next to you, fool.
AJ.
Okay. Cool.
So he just kind of like offers them out. He doesn't remember whose is whose.
I grab mine because I know which one mine is. It's the one that looks like mine. As he hands me our wands, I say to him, "Is there like a way that people who have been forced not to know about the magical community? Is there a way that you can like get a pass for them to know about it? Is that what they did for the film era, or?"
Oh, no, there wasn't a pass. All right. So I find this subject very exciting, and I understand why you're excited too. So let me just try to regain my composure and put it in simpler terms. So everyone who was helping create this new art form, this new community of cinema, okay? They didn't like what Thomas Edison was doing. Edison had too many rules. He wanted things done his way. And if you didn't like it, he would send people after you. And that turned off pretty much everyone. The film community, the industry, everything was being done somewhere in New Jersey. And all of them decided, we've had enough of this. We're going to go where he can't get us. They went as far west as they could go. Because only then could Edison's goons, the government, Edison himself, not follow. They went all the way to Los Angeles. That's how far it had to go. And they even had to take it a step further sometimes. If someone from the FBI or the Federals showed up, they would have to transport all of their stuff to Mexico, across the border, and hide their film equipment there.
I remember all that. I'm so sorry. Your lecture was great. I'm just trying to say, like, there were some people in my community that were sort of forced to not remember me because of things that had to do with magic. Is there a way I can put them on like a list? I mean, it sounds like we've got this has happened before. There's a way, right, that we can like put their names down and they become honorary magic people, and then we can all work together, right?
What I am trying to say is what happened. And I'm giving today's lecture was an example. It was an instance of when things might have gone the way that you and I would like, but didn't. So they got to create their film community, but they were still breaking the rules. When the federals show up, they still had to stash everything in Mexico. But as long as nobody was watching them, they got away with it. And they all exchanged ideas while everyone's back was turned, and they created the film industry. Now, over time, everyone from the East caught up. The government, Edison, thankfully, is almost ruined by this point, but everything caught up. And if it wasn't for the fact that they had already got such a great head start, it might have been shut down right then and there. But they were always breaking the rules.
So
The Wizarding Board, the American government, if they really even were aware of us at the time, they all felt differently. This amazing new community of film was blossoming, and with it was an amazing community, unlike anything the world had seen for centuries, where wizards and Harveys were getting along. They were exchanging ideas, and they were all benefiting from it. I mean, we've got Star Wars now because of that.
yeah. But what you're saying is that if we wanted it to happen again, we'd have to break the rules.
Well, I'm not saying that.
Okay. Thanks for the wand. And I sort of turn and walk out of the room. And catch up with Paris and on a heat.
Cool. Y'all, we have a block schedule. That was your first day of school.
Wow.
He did it.
Yeah.
So on what will be Tuesday, Monday for us, next Monday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, another new episode of Walk on Roll. But for you all, it'll be Tuesday, August 11th, 1998, and you will have your next blocks of classes. You had 3 today, your extended class in broom sports, because broom sports is cray, and you got to get time to get in and out of your robes and stuff. Lunch, charms, and social studies. That is your class schedule for Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Tuesdays and Thursdays, we're going to do something else. I'm not going to tell you what it is yet. You'll find that out next week. So in the meantime, it is now the end of your school day. You've got a little bit of some free time to go back to your dorms or mingle or visit wherever you like before dinner is served. But basically what I'm getting at is enjoy your night off with the last remaining hour that we have here.
Oh. All right.
And I'm personally curious that if any of you have something you've been meaning to tell your friends about all day, now would be the time.
You, as we're all walking out, yeah, what are you saying, Alex?
So, do you guys know where the Amber homeroom dorms are?
Have you not been there all? How did you get changed?
No, do you know? I go there all the time. You
Oh,
guys know?
I look at my map. Is it on there?
No, it's not highlighted for you.
Oh, I say I don't know.
I mean, it's there. If you recognize the space, you'll notice it. I'll say the closer you are to things, they get labeled. I want you to picture it like a video game has a load. When you get closer to places, things kind of make sense. So the closer you are to things, the more detailed that portion of the map gets. But the map is functioned because it's just on the small back of a card. It's not a full map of the building. It's basically designed to get you to your class. It knows where you are and where you should be going.
Okay.
And during free periods and such, it'll highlight a few places that the school encourages you to go. Things like the grand cafetorium, the library, your respective homeroom towers, stuff like that. But the quad upstairs.
Yeah.
But it's not going to label a homeroom that you don't belong in.
Okay.
Or at least it's
yeah.
not going to highlight it, you know? It's not going to
Yeah,
get you.
yeah. I'm like,
You got to
yeah,
find it yourself.
it hasn't rendered. I don't know. I don't know where it is.
I, I guess I just show them on my map. So this is where we our place is. If you have some time a little bit later, maybe after dinner, I want to show you something.
Okay.
Are you
Or
talking to
like
all of
all of
us or
us?
Yeah, I'm
just
talking to
All of
all of
JJ?
you.
us, or like
Sorry.
you
Oh,
guys
okay.
are really close, whispering to each other, but like Anna and I are still here, and we're like, okay, so us too.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
all of you, all of you.
Cool.
Cool.
Do we need
This
like
is
a
a
password
cool
or
first
anything to
day.
like get in there? Is that how these
Oh
things
no,
work, or at the school?
I'll
I
just
don't
meet
know.
you out front.
Okay, cool.
Uh, cool.
So cool. So let's get some food. This is neat. JJ is kind of has a pep in his step as he walks down to the grand cafetorium for his Ohio-based dinner of, you know,
Buckeyes.
potatoes and
I
yeah,
mean,
Five
luckily for
Guys.
you Americans, your palate is pretty broad. So the school doesn't, as time goes on, you'll discover it doesn't pick your favorite meal every time. The menus start to trickle into each other and become a little bit more consistent as a way for the students to experience the cuisine of different cultures. Now, there is a plethora this year of British students, so they aren't like American steak and potatoes per se, but something a little more universal. So, if you really want me to decide for you, let's call it a buttered chicken with mashed potatoes and gravy, peas and carrots on the side. Not mushy though. We're not there yet.
Some of the peas are mushy, but some of the peas are regular.
Yeah, and a custard dessert.
Ooh.
Wow.
We got
Alex,
mashed
yeah,
potatoes, so we're not having mashed peas. That's what I'm getting at.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, got it. Sweet.
As you guys
That
are
all sounds good.
entering the grand cafetorium, you've got some of the students who are in your last class coming up behind you guys saying, JJ, Alex, yeah, your duel was awesome. So, thanks. Runs off.
Why do you make that noise when you ran off? Is that a normal thing wizards do? Yeah, we eat. It's good. The food is great.
That food's terrible.
It's all right.
Yeah, I sort of sit at my table alone again and kind of eat as fast as I can. I'm excited to get to Alex's homeroom to see what he's got.
Since
Oh,
possums,
we're not gonna hang out at dinner and talk like. You guys can totally skip that if you want.
I mean,
Yeah, if anyone has dinner things you
yeah,
want to do.
we're getting through it.
yeah, well, some dinner. Yeah. Possums. Apparently, they in case you all my friends here sitting at the table didn't know, they will kill and eat pretty much anything, including chickens. But because they are lazy hunters, typically it's going to be like dead animals and stuff. So the fact that this is like already prepared, it's just really nice that I'm able to like take this buttered chicken and feed that to her. She's really appreciative of it. She's been
I
getting lots of fruit lately, but we got to have some protein in there for her as well.
I see Paris feeding Diamond in her bag, and I think about what she said, and so I take some of the mushy peas from my mushy peas and give it to my orangutan. I'm like, here you go. Is this what you want?
Wow.
I sort of lay it on the table seat so he can just kind of grab it and eat it. I was like, okay. Um, try not to hurt anybody who's helping me next time. I appreciate that. And I give him some potatoes as well. And some chicken. I just kind of started giving him pieces from my plate.
Anahit's at her table and she takes her journal out of her bag. She has like a journal. And she's just kind of like jotting down stuff that happened throughout the day. And she's also saving some scraps for Luna. And she notices like that group of kids that were at the table last time.
Okay, so
And
just
yeah.
I want to clarify something I didn't tell you last time. So
Okay.
the group of kids weren't all Amethyst kids. They were all sitting together at the Amethyst table because, let's say, the ringleader of the clique is Amethyst, but not all of them are.
Mm.
So you might see that individual, but you're not seeing everyone. They're
Cool.
not all hanging out. So with dinner time happening, because they've all caught up about that weekend, now that student might be just talking with other Amethyst students or maybe one of their friends, but it's not that same clique. Cool?
I was just gonna say she notices one of them, like the one, whatever, the guy that was in Amethyst. She just notices and like that was that guy said that thing. But she's like, she's mostly just writing stuff down in her journal, like sucked at curling, but got carried by JJ. JJ set Charms class on fire. Learned wizard film history. That was cool.
Oh my god, I love it.
Link.
Yes, I'm also reading at the table as well. That inspires me. That's what I used to do, anyways. I have my book cracked open and I'm just like reading and eating.
Paris takes a moment. She opens up her little like makeup compact, and you think that she's looking at the little mirror, but tucked away behind the little mirror is actually a picture of her grandma. And she just kind of gives it a little look, and then like doesn't want anyone to notice. So then she like closes her compact and then resumes the chicken feeding to Possum.
Question: when you said when you were talking about your grandma during Charms class, were you saying that stuff out loud, or was that in your head what you were thinking of?
That was out loud.
Cool. Good to know.
There's a reason why I am big on if I'm talking to JJ right now. Or
sure, we can make that.
Yeah, I don't
nautical.
know, or not.
Maybe I come over
Just
and see you looking at the compact, and I'm like, and I see her picture, and I ask, I was like, is that your grandma?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I'm just gonna close it real quickly, and we'll just leave it at that for the conversation.
Okay. Are you ready to go hang out with Alex?
Yeah, it looks like Possum is just literally picking the bones on the chicken at this point. So, Diamond Possum, let's get Anna.
Like, yeah. So I go over to Ahi and I see her writing JJ said Charms class on fire. And I'm like, are you ready to? Oh man, did I really set the whole classroom on fire?
Did you really just see that?
Oh, sorry. I was just trying to get everybody together for hanging out with Alex.
Yeah. Sure. I just need a second.
Oh, sorry.
And I'm just like, oh God, did he see the part where I was like, he carried me? And I was like, oh, yeah, that was fun. That was cool. I'm just like, oh no. But then I just like put away my journal like really quickly and like take my plate and whatever. And follow
Okay.
him. Yeah.
Great. And I go and I go and like kind of stand by Alex's table as he's eating. And I'm like,
Oh, Alex is gone. Alex ate very quickly, very secretively, and got out of that before as fast as he could.
A few things before we join Alex. So what's happening? I just want to make sure I'm on the same page as everybody. Y'all are standing between the sapphire and amethyst tables because they are next to each other. And then you look over to find Alex and see that he's not there. But before that, Anahit is writing in her diary intently and then gets caught off guard and gets all a little bit blush-faced, right? Okay. Okay. All right. Guy down the way, I don't know if he notices or not. I don't know. I don't know how to make like roll for discreetness on you being embarrassed. So we'll just leave it as iffy. And also, just so JJ's aware, one of the new Sapphire students has been feeding your orangutan a mango.
Oh, I go, just be careful. He's very big. But thanks.
Okay, cool. I just want to make sure we're on the same page, and I will set that aside. Continue. I'm just letting you guys take the show from now.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is your show.
I look for Alex, and he's, I guess, not there. So I kind of look back at Anna and Paris. I'm like, what?
Oh yeah. If you're not there yet, yeah, carry on.
I mean, he showed you where his thing is. I mean, we were just kind of like behind you guys, but like he showed you, Mr. Map Maker, if you are the map reader.
I told you
like,
I
we
wasn't
should know
the
where to
map
go.
reader. Anna's the map
But he
reader.
showed you. He showed you. We are willing to follow you. We all want to know what's going on.
Okay.
I know
all
I
right.
didn't get a chance to look at it unless Anahi got a chance to look at it too. I don't know.
Did you look at it?
I did not.
Yeah, that was like a you guys moment.
You guys were all standing there. Ugh. Is there like a magic? I pull out my wand and I just kind of like jab it at the paper. Because you know what? If people have been using magic against me my whole life, I guess, up to this point, now at least I've found some joy in it. And I'm just going to start like trying to use it to solve stupid problems, I guess, like all these other wizard people do. Because I got to get good at it.
Is your intention to stab the paper with your wand?
No, I pointed at the paper and I picture Alex and I picture him like telling us where to go. And I start to cast the spell and then I stop and I'm like, oh, I'm being just like one of them. And I put the wand away and I walk over to, what is your house? Sapphire? Ruby?
Amber.
Amber? I walk over to the Amber table and I'm like, hi, JJ. This is my friends, Anahit in Paris. We're looking for your homeroom because our friend Alex said we should come over and see.
Don't tell
Our friend
him.
Alex wanted us to come over. I can tell him.
Do you know who you're talking to, or do you want me to decide
I'm just coming over to the table. I picked the person that looks the most like a young Harrison Ford. It just really just looks just like him. It's almost just like the spitting image of just a young Harrison Ford.
Be a prefect or whatever the equivalent is in this universe.
Yeah, sure, that's fine.
No, there's the class president, Tom, who is out and about.
No. I'm looking for from Amber. I'm looking for someone who looks just.
So
just
meanwhile, while this is happening,
Okay.
can Diamond have escaped out of my bag to go follow the trail of Alex? So now I've got my two-way communication with Diamond, and I'm like, guys, Diamond knows where we're going.
Yeah, and if Diamond is familiar with this scent, I feel like it's plausible.
For sure, definitely. I think the psychic link here might be a very useful thing for us to go follow the trail.
Finally, the familiars are getting some action. Thank you, Link. You have contributed to the story. You may leave now.
Never. He's gonna look right in your face.
Nope, it's still the familiars moment. So we're gonna stick with he's gonna stay. And yeah, whatever that was, just go chase it. Okay, so Diamond, we're gonna roll for Diamond here.
Okay.
This you're gonna need her to do something that's it's totally doable, but it's a larger task, and you've never sent her after. Has she done this before? Tracked?
Yeah.
Anybody?
Yeah, for
She
sure.
has?
Yeah, as far as like having to find things for me, yeah, all the time because I misplace them all the
But
time. So she's
people?
gone in other rooms.
your things make sense because she's very familiar with your scent. And this is how
Sure.
possums work, I've decided. But have you had her track down people before? Specific
Well,
people?
here's the deal. Alex ate his food very quickly. He still has that scent of chicken on him. She had noticed that he was getting up to leave. Is she the chicken trail?
Well, the chicken trail is going to lead her right back into the cafeteria where there's lots of chicken being eaten.
Yeah.
Chugging her over.
I mean, I guess.
I'll call this a. I want you to roll for 11. I guess this would be charm then, because you're trying to
Okay.
work with someone else. So yeah, it's a charm roll, which I believe works in your favor.
You want 11, baby? I got you an 11.
All right.
Nice.
Y'all been matching real nice today. Well done. Okay, so exactly what you intend to happen happens. She starts to go for the chicken, and then you're like, no, find Alex. And he or she, I always forget what diamond.
Diamond's a she.
Or they. Okay. She takes off and scurries down the hallway, and you are welcome to follow her.
Yes.
I don't know
All right,
this
hey,
is happening at
JJ,
all.
stop talking to the
And
table.
what? I wanted to find what?
We're good here, thank you. Whatever he's trying to show it to us, he's obviously trying to show it to us in like discreet, ways. We can't ask them. They're all gonna wonder why we're there.
Well, how are we gonna? Okay. How do we get? Okay. I just hand you the
Just-
piece of paper.
Great.
You're the
I
map
mean,
person
this is
now.
nice, but right now I'm communicating with Diamond, so we're good. She's already telling me where we're gonna go. You all set?
You're communicating. I look at Ani. Can you talk to your cat?
Not psychically.
To answer your question, just because I think this is how this game wants familiars to work, I still don't quite get familiars here. You have a bond with Luna, but you are not a two-way radio with Luna, the same way that Paris seems to be with Diamond.
That's one of my strengths. Yeah, the
I
psychic
know.
link.
I'm excited we're
Okay,
using it.
Okay, cool.
Okay. So what does that bond feel like? Is it she just like tied at your hip or whatever? Because she just follows you around, right? Like orangutan
Well, she'll
does
follow
for
me around or follow people around. So she followed Alex back to his place, and so at this point she's just waiting patiently outside of the amber entryway where he told us to meet, and
Okay, let's go.
we're good to go.
We're walking and talking. I'm just trying to figure it out because I feel like my familiar just kind of follows me around and is very aggressive to people that are trying to like do anything or like he thinks are going to put me into
Well, maybe you need to like be more positive with your
he's
familiar.
a
You just
giant
keep.
gorilla thing.
He's an orangutan, so you should get that right in the first place. Come on, man.
Wow.
I'm having a heart to heart here.
Just okay. All right, let's just go see Alex. Okay, I don't want to talk about it anymore.
I feel like everyone's familiar is like a little different anyway.
Yeah, but
And
like
yeah. Don't feel bad, JJ.
it's just yours is a cat and like I guess just hangs out in your room, which is cool. Like this thing got me kicked out of my school and like ruined my. It doesn't matter. We'll figure it out. Are we there yet?
So the trouble is, Alex didn't, and correct me if I'm wrong, Alex, didn't take a straightforward path to get to the Amber. Like he's not very familiar with the school, so it's not like he found like back alleys and shortcuts and stuff. But he keeps darting behind columns and over to edging staircases. So there's just a few extra steps, but you eventually do make your way after him darting over here just to take a moment and then come in this way. Finally, around the grounds of the school, and off in the distance, you see a little yellow-haired boy with yellow-lined robes, who has been keep trying to play it cool I imagine. I'll let you take it from here.
So what is the entrance to like is it paintings like like another school might have, or is there something unique to the school that or envisioned to the
School does have paintings, not a whole heck of a lot.
Okay, but that's not how the entrance to the rooms are.
Exactly. This place is not littered with paintings to the point where you could use a painting as a disguise for a door. It would still stand out. They're big, heavy wooden doors.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, it's kind of straightforward. I'm sorry to say.
Mm-hmm. Cool. I just wanted to know if how you were envisioning that. All right. So they come in. They appear before me.
What? You left us behind. I was gathering everybody to come together. You just walked off. What?
Were you followed?
No. No?
Nope.
Great.
I mean, the path was kind of weird that we took here, but we're here, so I'm pretty sure if anybody tried to follow us, they would have gotten lost. I mean, I don't know what you were doing, like dodging behind pillars or something.
Doesn't matter how I got here. All right, follow me. And I start leading them down a couple corridors in the general area of my homeroom. And eventually, after just a couple.
Are we in the homeroom?
No. We were just meeting at the homeroom.
Okay.
I was not leading them.
Okay.
So I lead them away from the homeroom. And we come across to this one hallway that's kind of just like a pretty open hallway. It has exits to the far right and left. But when we get there, we kind of peer around, and it looks like no one's there. He says, "Okay, good. Okay." And I lead them about partway down the hallway. And I stop. Say, "Okay." And I face the wall. I say, "All right. What do you see?"
I see
A wall.
a wall.
Yeah.
All right. Great.
Did you hit your head today?
No,
Is this
why
my
does everybody
fault?
keep asking? Okay, now, and I face away from the wall. Says, "No, do as I do."
Turn around.
Okay, and so we're all facing away from the wall, I assume.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right, now back up. Keep facing forward, and I back up. And I back up into the wall.
This is a really weird after dinner thing that we're all doing.
You should feel around. It's around here somewhere. Just, I found it before. But keep facing forward.
Okay.
And we're now. I don't know if we want to roll for this, but we are searching for something.
I have no idea what we're looking for, so I'm just sort of like.
You'll know it when you feel it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So because you are you're not looking at what you're searching for, this is going to be a bit of an arduous task that is definitely roll worthy.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to keep this idea simple. I think this would be pretty extraordinary if you all managed to find something you don't know that you're looking for, not knowing what it is, by touch. So let's say this is a 16 roll, but I'm assuming one of you can do it, and you're not really using your brains. You're not really using your brawn. You're just going off a touch here.
I would say grit. If I'm going to be honest with you, I vote for grit because we're for Alex, for JJ. I'm like I'm annoyed that you don't know what we're looking for, so I'm just like trying to like power through this weird thing that we're all doing.
Yeah, I think it's a gut feeling, which to me is grit. So everyone do a grit roll. Aiming for 16.
I have to explode 3
I mean,
times.
Should I even roll? Because my grit is a 12.
Yes, because if you hit a 12, then your dice explodes and you have a lucky break where you can still achieve 16. It's tough. It's going to be tough for you, and that's the nature of your grit stat, but it can be done.
I
Okay.
did not do it. 7.
Nobody did it.
I
Yeah,
got,
I got a 4.
You got
You got a 4?
Yep.
And sorry, what did you get, Paris?
I got a 10.
Not bad, not bad.
She's the closest. I will offer her 2 adversity tokens. As I'm kind of feeling like, Alex.
Wait, I have a question. For an inspiration roll, if I were to use it and got a crappier roll, like say I roll it and I get a 6 instead, can I keep my 10 or do I have to go with a 6?
Oh boy, where did we land on that?
I think it should be advantage rolls where you keep the better roll.
I agree.
Yeah.
I just feel like it's kind of
We don't have
mean.
an advantage
to
system.
Actually, I'm
make
not.
you
But I'm
take a
not
worse
gonna. I
roll.
won't re-roll it though, because the highest I could get is a 12. Well, but then I could
Nope.
also explode
Still,
it,
you
right?
still could do it. It could be done. Also, you
Yeah,
have
at this point in the night, yeah, because I shouldn't be able to transfer over my last inspiration. So I'll do this. Is that cool?
yeah.
I don't know what the heck we're looking for.
Yeah, some more
And
instruction.
remember, you have adversity tokens.
Oh, sorry, didn't. The 2. I got a 2.
All right, so I am like, come on, guys, we can do this. Like we've done through so much today. That's how I'm helping people out, and I will spend. Am I allowed to spend 2 adversity tokens to give them to Paris?
Well, I just gained a new one. And then, yeah, JJ, you have you given someone an adversity token yet, or has everyone just given them to you so far? Has anyone spent an adversity token on? Has JJ given anybody an adversity token, or might this be the first time?
I've only got one from Anna, and I gave one to Alex, and I gave one to JJ.
Great. I'm fairly certain that's how it's
in the
gone,
past.
because I don't remember getting to tell you about this rule, which I think you might be aware of. That JJ, one of your special attributes that make you the unique person that you are, is that when you spend an adversity token on one of your friends, they get 2.
That's right. I don't gotta spend
You're
one.
a loyal
What's up?
friend, and when you help someone, it's all the more rewarding.
Nice. I love that. Okay, cool. So I'm actually going to spend.
I'm really glad we get to see
spend
this.
2 adversity tokens on you,
That
Paris,
equals 4.
Which is 4.
And how much do we need? 14? Or no, we need 16?
We need 16. So someone needs to give you
16.
2 more. These are my
I'm out.
adversity
I'll give you 2
tokens.
more.
I
I'll give you
spent
2 more.
last session.
Okay.
I'm only getting 2
I don't-
beans for you, and then 2 beans from you as well. So 4 beans total need to be eaten for me.
But I don't eat any of them, right?
No, you're just getting them. They're the ones spending them. This is on them. They're the ones who
Okay.
did this. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, Garrett.
Oh no.
Oh, I should have ended with orange. That's my favorite.
Oh no.
It's already terrible. Oh
This
god.
is
The
all
yellow. I
wrong.
don't know what this is.
Ew.
I've made bad choices in my life.
Oh, I can't. Can I like spit it out?
Yeah, finish
Did you get like vomit?
Don't make her
I
eat
don't
it if it's bad. She
know.
put it in her mouth. That's all that matters.
I guess that's
Ew.
true.
That's the one I hate, man. Vomit is nasty.
Put the green one next
I
because I'm
think
worried
it's-
about it.
I got
Yeah.
sriracha and I got habanero. That is the worst.
Oh god, the second one is bad too.
Oh no.
Oh god, no! I'm out of beverage.
I know. I had to go get water.
Oh
Ew.
man.
You're
I'll
so
go
hot.
back up this time. Oh my god, this one bean just ruined everything.
Oh my god, I
Oh.
hope
I
whatever
got,
we're
like-
finding on this wall is great.
Me too.
Oh, it's so gross. It stings the tip of my tongue. It burns the back of my throat, and it just tastes bad. And it's like caught in my teeth too.
Carolina Reaper, isn't it? Was it all
I'm
red?
just swallowing mine.
Green.
That's what
I
I
think it was
had.
a habanero. I don't know.
Oh, if it was green, you had jalapeno. That's not too bad.
I hate jalapeno.
Carolina Reaper's the worst.
I don't like the flavor of it. Mm.
That's fair.
I
I
remember
had
this being hotter than last
booger,
time.
You had booger?
and dirty dishwasher, so that was
Oh.
lovely.
So sorry.
Gross.
Dirty
Yeah, I'll
dishwasher?
eat. Last one. I'm gonna eat this last bean. Hopefully, I won't make a scene.
Are you trying to rhyme this
Cinnamon,
time?
So
cinnamon.
I guess. Well, this one's multicolored, so I'm hoping it's like birthday cake or something.
Oh yeah, you'll be
Oh
fine.
God.
Yeah.
All right, Paris. With the encouragement of your friends, particularly, well, they both did in equal measure.
God.
Except, well, the two of them did an equal measure. The guy who's asking you to find something isn't being that helpful. But
Yeah.
you feel something that against this, what should be like every other room you've been in, a smoothish brick wall, you feel something distinct. You notice it with your fingertips, and then you kind of like flinch, and everyone notices, like, oh, and then they're egging you on. Be like, what is it? And you just kind of follow your guts and get a much better grip on it. And you discover.
Is that a cue?
Hmm?
The handle to a door.
Do you open it?
She just made a door opening noise, but it was suppressed by Discord. I can hear it through my headphones downstairs. Yeah, it's Discord suppresses it because it's background noise.
Oh.
Tone that I'm using, like the spectrum of the voice, the sound. Did they not hear that?
I heard it
Yeah,
that
they
time.
didn't.
Oh my
I
god!
did all 3 times.
I thought she was.
What is
farting.
this?
I don't know.
What is this, Alex? This is a really weird sounding door.
I have no idea. I haven't been inside.
Thank you for doing it again 3 times, Paris, because I really appreciated it that last time. I got to hear it. It was great.
Yeah, I
You're
only had the last
welcome.
one.
Oh my god!
Sorry, Alex. Are you taking the lead on this, or shall I?
You can take the lead if you want.
Okay. You open a door, and out.
Yeah.
Dirty dishwasher. Yeah.
Blech.
It still tastes disgusting in my mouth right now. Ugh.
According to our the one hosting the video, Justin, he says he's behind you and he can smell it.
These things are potent. They smell so bad.
I'm so sorry. Well, inspired by that moment, you walk into this room. You're on the ground floor, and you find this basement staircase that leads down below. And the gust of wind that often comes with letting an opening happen blows this putrid smelling aroma, mostly into Anahit's face, but you all get a whiff of it.
Oh god.
It
What the heck?
stinks.
What?
It's
Why
not overpowering. It's just kind of icky. It's something that Alex noticed when he was walking by one day. And students often remark that it smells bad, but they don't seem to realize that the bathrooms are on the other side of this big hallway, and the smell isn't coming on that side of the room. You know, like when you're in an echo room, they think it's that, but with smell.
Where have you taken us, Alex?
No idea. I thought this might be our first real adventure as friends.
You
I don't
hear
really want to know what that is.
you hear from below this odd echo of
I pull out my wand and I try to cast the daylight spell we worked on today in Charms over Alex's shoulder. And I'm trying to remember it exactly how she told me to do it. I'm trying to picture a sunny Ohio day. Like one of those hot days where it's just like humid.
And Diamond has popped her head out. Now she was already back in my little bag. She's popped her head out when she heard that noise and has this smell and is like a, has that little like. So she's interested. Guys, I think whatever it is, I don't think it's dangerous. She wouldn't react this way if it was dangerous.
I don't know. I mean, I guess you can speak her mind. Make this work. What am I casting for this spell?
You're casting 7 and you're using charm. Or you're aiming for 7, I should say.
7 charm, eh? Okay. Need my D10. It's over here. Here we go. Oh, shh. 2. I got a 2. And then a 3.
So,
please help me, somebody.
So we don't. Do we need light? Can we see a little? Is there any like light emanating?
There's some faint, we'll say torchlight, letting you know that there is, in fact, an end to this staircase, that you are, in fact, heading down below. It's there so you do not kill yourselves walking down a flight of stairs. But that's really it. It's meant to be dim, intentionally.
Shaking my wand and
So,
I can't remember how to do it.
JJ, you do cast that
I have a
spell.
flashlight.
You do, hang on, man, I love it. You do cast the spell, but it kind of comes out as this like dusky, faint light. It's
a crappy flashlight.
Yeah, I mean it's real low on the Kelvin scale, and so it's just like it's not white light, it's orange light that you're casting.
Okay, all right. Cool.
But luckily, one of you is very prepared for every occasion. And yes, I do see that in your bag you have a flashlight.
Right. And so I turn that sucker on, and I prepare to go down.
Ditto. Right behind with my crappy light.
Bum bum bum. I don't know if you can hear that. Is that a sound effect too?
No, I heard. Yeah, we heard that.
That's a weird sounding door, but okay.
Who follows?
Yeah, I'm down.
I don't think
it's gonna be bad.
Cool.
It's like really skeptical. She's like, that smells terrible, and I really don't want to know what that is. Maybe I'll just stay at the top of the staircase
No,
and
come on.
look
Anna,
out and make sure
you gotta
no one
come
comes
down
by.
with us.
Heat. We need the brains for this group.
But like, I don't know. Like, maybe we should have someone look out. And like, what if we get in trouble?
No, we'll be fine. We all got to be together so we can protect each other.
Look at her already using her brain. Like, what are you talking about? That's not a great idea at all.
I don't know. I have the intuitive strength, but like, I don't know if it would be worth it to like use it yet because we're not really glean from this yet, right? Like,
there honestly isn't. Yeah, I could tell you, but it'd be disappointing.
Okay. She reluctantly follows, but in the very back.
Does the door
And
click
goes-
shut behind you?
Or do we
Does
keep it
it?
open?
I don't know.
You're the last one.
Sorry,
so
everyone's
do you
in?
close it or keep it open? Yeah.
Oh yeah, the door shuts.
Oh my
You're
God.
now in darkness, and if you don't mind, Katie, one more time.
Da da da.
Thank you. And
Door, yeah.
that's where we're going to end it tonight. Oh, boy, am I excited for the weird thing I've got planned for you next time on Walk on Rules, Dungeons and Detention. Oh, man. Okay. How I'm excited. This is my favorite episode so far because I got to drop all my stupid Hollywood film history knowledge. Half of that is real, by the way. Most of what I told you tonight is actual Hollywood history trivia because magic is real, y'all. there's a theme happening here, and I want everyone in the chat to acknowledge it. So on that note, everyone in the chat, tell me what your favorite moments were. Everyone on screen, how'd you like tonight? Because I'm giddy over it, but then again, I'm very biased.
Just tried to kill a spider. I just wanted you to know why I got up and moved around.
Oh my god.
I missed.
Spiders. Oh, how quaint.
Yeah, right. I really enjoyed it. There were a lot of that was a lot of class. But you know what? It was funny because Garrett was like, "Oh, I've heard a lot of this before, but it was nice to like go back over it again." But I'm like, how is JJ sitting here and like absorbing it? So it's really cool to sit there and like try to deal with it in two separate headspaces. Let's see. I love the moment when Diamond tracked down Alex. I thought that was fun and quick thinking. I love the moment that Anahit was writing in her journal, and we like all happened upon her writing in her journal.
She's so embarrassed by it. It's all right. I mean, that's like so perfect.
Yeah.
Let me see. What else did I really enjoy?
The lightsaber battle that you guys did in the middle of class.
Yeah.
Like, oh my god.
I would not have done that if you had not started it with Alex. So I was like, I like that moment because as Garrett would never ever do that in school. I was such a I'm not a straight A student, but like I tried to be very attentive and like very polite and professional in school. So like to have JJ disrupt class and do something like that was really fun for me to play with. So I really enjoyed role playing that moment because it's very much outside of who I am as a person. So thanks for that.
I loved that both JJ and Anahit were like sincerely invested in the class. I just thought that was great, like being true to your character, being like, no, this is actually something I care about, and I want to know how it relates to my life. I just thought it was cool. I just thought it was really good role playing on that end for both of you, in particular.
Oh, thanks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I loved the lightsaber. It's just like so random, like, but like it felt like really cute too. Like, oh yeah, that is something that like, especially someone as, I don't know, weird as Alex to like just like bust that out in the middle of class. And like, yeah, if he's like spacing out and he's like, well, this thing's cool, so I'm just gonna do this because yeah. And then JJ just goes along with it. Like,
I'm
that's
a
really
little
cool.
worried that he's gonna think every class now he just has to start casting spells for the class to happen. So I'm like, I feel like it's gonna get dangerous very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we already used gosh, how many adversity tokens to feel out what was against the frickin' wall.
I love that we're going into God knows what with very few adversity tokens, which means we'll probably not be succeeding.
So when you're gifted an adversity token, you've used it, right? Because somebody like towards that role.
Right.
Okay, cool. Yeah, then I have. Yeah, I've got 3 left.
I also enjoyed talking about my familiar with Paris. Like I thought the familiar chat with her, of like her being able to talk to her possum, and like the 3 of us having that moment of like, you don't have a bond with yours, and I thought that was really fun role playing.
And I like how you even say right now the 3 of us, and I'm like, no, the 4 of us, because your orangutans right there. Gosh dang it! But whatever, it'll take time.
It'll take time. This is your goal.
Also, just like for Diamond to be like a scent hound all of a sudden too, like sniffing out Alex was like really cute too.
Yeah, that was
I
so
like
fun.
that a lot too.
And Alex or Zach, geez,
hi.
Where the heck are we going?
He doesn't know, but I do.
I have no idea.
Wow, I'm inspired.
I had an idea about a secret door, and I wanted to share it with you.
I'm so happy that you did, because it was very inspiring for me to be like, I love that Kevin A, you were like, do you want to take it or do you want me to take it? And he was like, no, go for it. And I was like, that was great. I just very much appreciated that.
If we had not done the adversity roll, we never would have found whatever we were looking for, and then just had to move on.
And honestly, I would have been a little distraught, because that probably would have been like the 3rd or 4th thing this session that I tried to set up that you've all missed or walked away from.
Oh, for real?
Oh, really?
Little
What else
bit.
did we miss?
I'm very
Okay.
subtle.
You're welcome.
And one day, maybe a year from now, we'll be doing the after show, and I will get to explain what I was hoping you would do. But yeah, it was so funny that I felt like I had to come up with a plan C on the fly, and then I was like, oh no, wait, they're making their way back to B now. So thank you for that. I appreciated that moment a lot of Alex initiating an adventure. There was so many things about this session that I personally love. I'm so glad that characters were interested in the conversation because I feel like I really lost the chat with that lecture. Every time I do something I think is really cool and based in reality, the chat seems to brush it off and not appreciate the magic potential that could be there should you just interact with it.
Welcome
Andy.
to Hollywood.
But I'm glad you guys were invested because we're laying a lot of fun things and foundations for stuff to come further on in the story. But there's also the spontaneous moments of the lightsaber duel that made that class way more fun. So I thank you for that. I really feel like you kind of helped me save my lecture a little bit. But the conversations about the animal familiars is gold. It's the stuff that I knew you guys would just produce on your own. And I love having it happen because it's so much a part of this story. Mostly because you guys are creating it, but there's all the themes, all the seeds are being planted, and it's going to be a very fruitful show. I just know it. As for next episode, that's a different story because yes, you guys are going into the dark completely unaware, and when you finally get to it, you're gonna wish you'd taken a few more classes. It's only day 1, y'all.
Oh no.
I love that this is happening. But I'm gonna have to wait until next Monday at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time for the next episode of Dungeons and Detentions. In the meantime, Justin's going to be playing Ghost of Tsushima tomorrow. I'm going to be finishing Untitled Goose Game and going 100% and making my art and torturing my fellow Australian people. I'm really not sure that game is set. Thank you all who watched today and participated in class, who are voting right now. House points will be assigned and taken away as is accustomed. Oh, y'all lost some house points today. I'm just saying.
Oh.
There's a lot. Yeah. Someone was reading a book in class and the other one fell asleep. I'm not naming names.
It could have been anyone.
Could have been anybody.
Yeah.
Who's doing this stuff?
Oh, pardon me. There's a correction coming from Justin. He'll be playing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles tomorrow, and I know that that show is going to have some fun stuff involved. So tune into that on Broadstrokes Plays tomorrow night. Untitled Goose Game is just a fun game. I recommend it to everybody on Wednesday night. Then we're going to take we'll be back on Thursday for another game, I'm sure. But then we get a long, nice weekend so we can all recuperate and then just dive right back in. There's a lot of fun things that are going to happen very shortly, or terrifying. We'll see what happens next time on Dungeons and Detentions Walk On Roll. Have a good night, everyone.